Good morning. Did you get some sleep? We kinda did, but we're caffeinated. We're here on this Sunday morning in Modesto at Modern Woodman Field for one more time to finish out the first half of this 2026 inaugural campaign for the Long Beach Coast. I'm Joey Miller, alongside me Jesse Cook, here welcoming you into the pregame show, the beach ball pregame show. And the Long Beach Coast just finished out the series clinching second win last night. 8-3 was the final score, though there was not much scoring in the game. Of the 18 half innings of work, only 5 times did a run plate for either team. And for the Roadsters, they got going early in those first 3 innings. 2 runs in the second, 1 in the third, and then they were scoreless for the rest of the game. Nathan Hemmerling gave up those first 3. Devin Hernandez looked fantastic on the other side, but then the bullpen is where things got a little out of sorts, especially when it came to Aaron Moreno, the Roadsters' go-to closer, heading into the 8th. The Coast were trailing 3-1. Johnny Pappas got his first hit in 13 at-bats, finally breaking out of that slump, tying up the game at 3 apiece. And then in the 9th, things just got off to a blast, some may say, a Bardo blast. The go-ahead home run, the first home run in 32 innings for Long Beach, getting a 5-run rally started for that 8-3 victory. Gary Grosjean on the other side of things on the mound in those final 2 innings, scoreless, only giving up 3 hits and striking out 3 as well. It was a fantastic finish, and now in 14 series, this is their 12th victory. They're going for the 6th series sweep of the season, but more importantly, they're going for a Pioneer League record.
That's right, 37 wins. It would tie what the Oakland Ballers did last year with a 37-11 end to the first half of the season, which sounds very familiar because that's what the Coast can do today. They can clinch that 37-11 record and, by a tiebreaker, the first half title.
Yes, so the Billings Mustangs and the Long Beach Coast, they both clinched the playoffs, but it's been a little bit of an oddity trying to determine who is going to get that home field advantage in September. And with just a win today, we believe that the Long Beach Coast will secure that home field advantage at Blair Field.
So everybody, I want you to take out your calculators for this one. I'm going to take out my phone, and we'll dial up the numerical formula for this, which is pretty simple. It's just that if there is a tie in the standings, you default to runs allowed per game. So 37 wins for the Long Beach Coast, a potential 37 wins for the Billings Mustangs. If Long Beach wins this game, it doesn't matter what Billings does because currently they have 35. And if they decide to play that currently unplayed, rained out game against Missoula, well, it may not make a difference to the first half standings. The Coast have allowed 312 runs to this point in the season, and I want you to divide that by 47 because that's how many games the Coast have played, and you'll get an answer of 6.6. Well, Billings has allowed a lot more, 345 runs in 46 games played. That comes out to, well, let's just see right here.
Carry the 1.
7.5. So, let's say both teams pitch shutouts today. It really doesn't matter. Long Beach will end up with, let me do the math here, 312 divided by 48, 6.5 runs allowed, 345 divided by 48, assuming Billings plays today and finishes up its game against Missoula, that's still 7.2. Doesn't matter. The Coast have the tiebreaker. All they need to do today is beat the Roadsters on that field, but it's easier said than done because Modesto has fared better than any other team in the Pioneer League against Long Beach this season.
You think that was a bit, by the way. He was actually doing the numbers on his phone.
I'm not smart enough to get to that point in my head. Not even when the numbers have single digits.
Yes.
What's 6 divided by 3? I don't know.
But the baseline is just to win, and on the mound for the Long Beach Coast today is going to be Matthew O'Brien in his second start, his 4th appearance out of UC Riverside. He did not look phenomenal in his last start against the Yuba Sutter Freebirds in that 17-12 series opener in the first series loss that they took in 9 series, but looked a little bit promising out of the pen when we saw him at Blair Field earlier this week. I think he's gained a little bit of confidence, and now the team is just going to have to rally behind him today.
And he's a starter by trade. That's what he did at UC Riverside this past season for every single one of his outings. That included a complete game that he pitched back in March. He had a stretch of 3 straight games in April where he allowed just 1 earned run. So Brian is definitely built for a moment like this.
And on the other side, it's going to be a tough battle with Omar Serrano, the reigning pitcher of the month in the Pioneer League. He is just electric, keeping a sub-3 ERA in the month of June. So this offense really needs to get going a little bit faster than they didn't yesterday.
Well, 1 run in the first 7 innings isn't good enough for you?
Well, I guess it was because, when you have that late surge, as they did in the 9th, it all seemed to work out. We did talk about how the bullpen often for the Roadsters is not the greatest in the Pioneer League. They sure looked pretty great on the first night of this series, kept keeping things close, but the coast prevailed. But speaking of the bullpen, last night the first one out of the bullpen was Steven Ordorica, needing only 3 pitches to get 2 outs. He had a nice pickoff move in the 7th, relieving Nathan Hemmerling. And Jesse, you actually worked with Steven Ordorica, aka Chili. I don't know if he's actually at the ballpark right now. He missed the morning bus.
Well, Chili was locked in during last night's game, and we worked on the pitching mechanics that it takes to throw like he does, which a lot of pitchers say is a little easier on the wear and tear in the body, but it's definitely not easy to actually find your release point pitching submarine. I learned that the hard way.
The rock skipper, the knuckle scraper, Chili. Here's that video now.
Hey everybody, we're going to learn how to throw submarine style. I'm Jesse Cook with relief pitcher Steven Ordorica. You go by Chili,
yes, sir.
And you leave batters ice cold at the plate every now and then with some of those pitches. How do you find out that you could throw like this and make that your delivery?
So it was actually an interesting story. I was an infielder growing up my whole life, so we got a new pitching coach my senior year of high school, and I was always a pitcher, didn't throw hard, but I would just go in there and just try to throw it over the plate, and he would see how I'd receive the balls on the infield, right? So on the run, you kind of have a natural movement to throw to first. So he goes, hey, do you want to try moving down in here? I said, sure. First inner squad, I hit my buddy in the same spot 3 times. But once I figured out where to start it, it was pretty fun.
Well, we've got Johnny Pappas over there playing catch. You want to show us a pitch?
Yeah, of course.
And where would you say your arm angle is below the belt there?
I would say, yeah, so you'll have like right over the top, 3/4, and you'll have like sidearm, and then it's like right in the middle of sidearm and like as slow as submarine as you can get.
And I know you sometimes warm up throwing overhand at first, just like that.
Yeah.
So why make the switch starting out over the top to then in the game drop down here?
So most mounds say they're new place we're playing at or something, or every mound will be different every day, of course. Sometimes I'll just like finding my footing with one over the top to make sure everything's kind of landing like pretty symmetrically, and then I'll find whether I'm too far this way or more in or more away.
So now let's talk about the mechanics. So someone who's never thrown submarine before like myself,
Yeah.
You're like me, you throw out here.
Yeah.
So what's the first fix in making someone, an average Joe like myself, then drop down here like that?
Yeah, so I mean the first fix, honestly, I would get you to act like you're getting a ground ball and you're making a double play. So you kind of get the slot from down here already, and then start from there, and then that's when we'll get to more mechanics like on the mound.
Okay. So I'll try one first here to Johnny Pappas over there. So start like you're fielding a ground ball.
And then throw to second. There you go. That's pretty good.
Is that a strike?
Yeah. Whew, I'd tap that.
No challenge needed. That's
No
a strike.
challenge needed. So my biggest thing would get you to be going straight to the plate instead of away from the plate. I would land and throw against my body to where I was throwing a little bit slower, wasn't using my full like range of motion, you would say, to where I'd get you to go up slow and then come down and try to go forward and then you turn.
Field like a ground ball, go up slow, maybe have a bit better balance than I do right now, and then drop down straight forward.
There you go.
And maybe don't throw it at the righty batter
That's
like
all right.
I just did.
So now I just want you to look at Johnny's right shoulder.
So slow up like that.
Not bad, okay.
I looked at his shoulder. I might have concussed who was ever in the left-handed batter's box, but
Now
felt more in control.
do the same thing, but don't try to throw it there.
Don't try to throw it
So
there. What do you mean?
just throw. So on that one, you looked at his shoulder, but you tried to throw it there, so you yanked it to the left.
Okay.
So this time, look at his shoulder and just try to throw a strike. Don't
All
try to
right.
pull or go open. Just try to throw a strike. There you go.
How about that? Steven Orderica, Chili, already a pitching coach.
Timing is probably the best thing, because sometimes I'll feel a little rushed, or I feel like I won't get up enough to where I'll go here and then try to kind of like rush it, or either land too early or too late, and then I'll either try to get it there like you did on the first one to where I'll either miss left, or my body would go too early to where my arm's late to where it'd be opening up and I'll stay open, so it'd go into the right-handed batter.
And how does that work with the pitch clock? Because you said don't rush, but now you have an 18-second timer
Yeah.
between pitches.
I mean, that's where we leave it up to the good souls behind the plate.
Are there any extra exercises you have to do to maintain that core stability that people who throw overhand or sidearm might not have?
I learned one from a pitching coach in Mexico that he would practice his off speeds on a knee from here. So he'd go straight to here to in front. So you wouldn't have to go up and down every time during warm-ups, which that was like super helpful. That'll save you from a couple, what would you call it?
Head bobs?
Head bobs.
Going for apples there?
Yeah. Getting lightheaded, of course.
Well, now we know how to throw submarine. Steven Chili Orderica teaching us to throw from down here, perfect strikes. And I know my velocity wasn't as good as yours, but I definitely feel like we were dialing up the heat there.
Not
All
bad.
right. Thanks, Chili.
Of course.
Good morning, everybody. From Modern Woodman Field, it's time for the 48th game, the final game of the first half of the Pioneer League season. Joey Miller, Jesse Cook here as the Roadsters are starting to take the field for their final game of the first half, where they got their 20th loss last night. The Coast, rebranded as the Regulators, all 3 games now of this series, have taken the series just last night, 8-3 the final score, and now they're going to be looking to clinch the series sweeper this afternoon. The earliest broadcast that we've done, this is the second day game that they've had before noon, and despite taking the loss the last time, they showed up a little late. The last time they were here in Modesto on a Sunday, they actually got a couple hours in today.
It's just fantastic to be here for Sunday baseball at this point, too. It's so early compared to what we're normally used to, Joey, and I know we started off the pregame report telling people just how tired we were, but I think everybody has sort of woken up by this point.
You know, I thought it was going to be a lot worse. I kind of feel okay. I thought I was just going to be droning on through this show, but, we got a little caffeine in our system, and the excitement of last night kind of boiling over into today, and now they're getting ready for the national anthem.
That's right. We're going to pause to listen as they present this nation's colors, so enjoy.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
What a fantastic rendition of the national anthem. We have been blessed with some fantastic singers this season in Long Beach. Modesto has definitely held up its end of the bargain there, too. Just great stuff. We even heard a post-game concert last night. So the Roadsters have been putting on a show both with their players and with the local musicians, although it's been Long Beach showing out this series. Sunday baseball on the way on this, the final day of the first half of the 2026 Pioneer League season. The Long Beach Coast can clinch first place in the first half standings with a win today, thanks to the tiebreaker for runs allowed per game, which they hold over the Billings Mustangs. Long Beach allowing just about 6.5 runs per game. Billings way up there at right around 7.5. Jesse Cook with you next to Joey Miller as the Coast take on the Modesto Roadsters for this final game of the series, having won the first 2. Friday night in the knockout round, the home run derby that replaces extra innings in the Pioneer League. Cuba Bess winning that one. He's due up 5th for Long Beach. And then last night, a tightrope walk that ended with a 5-run lead. Long Beach surging back from a 3-0 deficit to win 8-3, scoring 7 of those runs in the 8th and 9th innings. Jumping into the lineup, it's Eddie Pelk leading off for Long Beach in left field, followed by Patrick Roche, the shortstop. Cooper Vest is at first base. He enjoyed a 2-hit ball game last night. Matthew Bardowell in right field. His Bardo blast bombed this team into the lead with a 2-run shot in the 9th inning. Cuba Bass batting 5th. He's the DH. Jacob Jablonski at second. Emilio Corona in center field batting 7th. Dylan Lena batting 8th at third. David Whittle making his first appearance of the series at catcher. Modesto tossing Omar Serrano onto the bump. It's Matthew O'Brien, the lefty, for Long Beach. Serrano fires in, getting set, and he deals home. First pitch fastball for a strike to start things at 11:04 a.m. Pacific time on getaway day for the Coast, who start a 2-week homestand on Tuesday. Next pitch to the lefty, Pelk. Zips inside and high for ball 1. Serrano enters this game after dealing in Oakland on July 7th. That began this week for Modesto on Tuesday. 6 innings then. Next pitch, swinging a high drive, straightaway right field, tracking back Boyd, feeling for the fence. He runs out of room. Eddie Pelk leads off the ball game with a huge home run. Good morning. Eddie Pelk launches that baseball to put Long Beach up 1-0. 7 home runs on the season for the Huntington Beach native. That's his 5th on the road. And 2nd of the series for the Coast, who rebrand today as the Long Beach Regulators. Pelk stomping on home plate with his white cleats underneath gray pants with black socks. The black Regulators road jerseys with the Gothic white font on the chest and the chain forming the Coast underneath with the same diagonal Gothic font for the numbers on the back. Ball right at that coastline on the stomach for ball 1. By the way, Eddie Pelk now reaching base in every game of the first half. Next pitch floats in for a strike. At the belt buckle, 1-1 count. The Coast have enjoyed 48 games in their inaugural season. In each contest, Eddie Pelk has been the leadoff man. And in every matchup, he has also reached base. How about it for the Pelk man? 1-1. Roche watches the slider miss low and away. 2-1 count. Serrano boasting a 3.08 earned run average entering this game with a 3-0 record. He is the only pitcher with more than one appearance with an earned run average sub 3.3. Next pitch, Roche swings and misses, so he takes a trip out of the box just to reset, adjust his batting gloves, and get his head back in there. Roche sat out on Friday, but last night made an impact, going 1 for 3 with a couple walks. Also an RBI in that 9th inning, where Long Beach broke the tie and piled on 5 runs to win the ballgame. Highlight kick. He swings and pops this one up in foul ground, first base side towards the dugout and out of play. The Massachusetts native keeps himself alive. Serrano spent his college years a little further south of Long Beach. Good 7-hour drive from here in Modesto out at San Diego State. He wrapped up in 2025. He was briefly teammates with Long Beach reliever Ryan Fox for a season. He sets and deals. Swing and a miss. Roche retired with Serrano's first strikeout for the first out in the top of the first inning. 1-0. Regulators, your score. Bases empty for Cooper Vest. Joey, you mentioned it. Vest enjoyed a 2-hit ball game yesterday, and he was due.
Yes, indeed. His first at-bat, or rather his first hit in 7 at-bats. That kicked off his day yesterday. He's now 2 for 9 on the series.
First pitch to the lefty out of St. George, Utah. It misses low and inside for a 1-0 count. Modesto, for the second time this series, is geared up in its white threads, but the neon blue and red Modesto scrawled across the chest diagonally. Next pitch falls in for a strike, low and inside. The Roadsters wearing their black caps with the symmetrical red M on the front, red, black, and blue piping around the shoulders and down the pant legs. Highlight kick. Swinging a rope out to short, bounces in front of Lejewski, fields on a hop, and throws to first to nab Vest by a step. Jacob Lejewski has been at shortstop every game this series for Modesto, and it's been tough to work around him. We've seen him make some diving efforts this series.
And that was some good feel when that ball was hit to him. He paused for a second, knowing that he could kind of scoop it and olay it with the confidence to fire across the diamond on the transfer.
Matthew Bardowell digging in on the right side. Last night, he sent the ball a mile to center field to effectively win the game. First pitch to him, he swings and misses over the slider. And that kept Long Beach's hopes for first place very much within reach, a half game ahead of the Billings Mustangs. Billings loses the battle in runs allowed per game. That's the tiebreaker if you haven't played any head-to-head matchups in the Pioneer League record books. 0-1. That pitch bounces. Billings, we broke it down during the Beach Ball pregame report, has allowed just about 7.5 runs per game this season. Long Beach, on the other hand, down at 6.5. So should the Regulators win today, there is no way the Mustangs can even them up for first place beyond just the record. Next pitch to Bardowell, flared out to shallow center field. Williams chasing in, and he scoops that one for out number 3. The Regulators are retired in order only after Eddie Pelk goes yard to right field to make it a 1-0 ball game. And for the second time this series, Long Beach leaves the top of the first with the lead. It's Max Handren, Tyler Williams, and Justin Boyd for Modesto when we return against the left-hander Matthew O'Brien for the Regulators on the Home Team Network. Already, Long Beach is ahead on an Eddie Pelk leadoff home run in the top of the first. Now for the home half of the inaugural frame in this one, it's the left-hander Matthew O'Brien dealing for the LBC. Opposite Modesto's Max Handren, the third baseman, followed by Tyler Williams in center, Justin Boyd in right. Lefty-lefty affair. First pitch out of the windup misses inside and low. It's a 1-0 count. Bryce Cannon batting fourth at first base. Jacob Lejewski, the shortstop, batting fifth. Kingston Liniak in left field, batting sixth. Dom Rodriguez, the seven-hitter. Next pitch bounced out towards the first base dugout. Foul. 1-1 count. Harry Owen, the catcher, batting eighth. He's being used to his full extent this series, catching every game. And Logan Sutter earns his first start at second base. Next pitch to Handren. He swings, bounces that to first. Cooper Vest fields it on a hop and jogs over to the bag for out number 1. Matthew O'Brien retiring his first batter. Thinking back to his college season that began the year, this being his rookie season in professional baseball, he enjoyed a few highlights. Struck out 8 San Francisco batters for UC Riverside on March 14th, although his team lost that game. He winds home to the righty Tyler Williams, fastball by his shoulders. Ball 1. O'Brien dealt a complete game in a 10-4 win against Cal Poly on March 28th. He kicks home, swing and a miss. Williams tied up on a pitch that landed in the same spot as ball one, so it's a 1-1 count. In that complete game, he allowed just 3 earned runs with a pair of strikeouts. Kicks high, swing and a miss. 1-2 count. And get this, Matthew O'Brien underwent a stretch of 3 straight outings, allowing 1 earned run. The last one was at Blair Field in Long Beach. Next pitch fouled to the top netting. 1-2 count. So the ballpark he now calls home in his first professional season. As a visitor, he shut down the Long Beach State Dirtbags. That was on April 18th. From the windup, bounces low and inside. That's common for a lot of these players. Good 2/3 of the roster played college ball in California. But it's relatively unique that the guys have played at Long Beach State's field, where they now play in the Pioneer League. The next pitch is in the dirt. It's a full count for Williams.
And as we move forward, we might see that number rise. A lot of talent to come out of Long Beach State,
Including third baseman Dylan Lena. Payoff pitch inside and low for ball 4. So Justin Boyd comes up now as Williams walks. 1 on, 1 away, 1-0 Long Beach in the bottom of the first inning. Lefty pitching to a righty now. And we also know that closer Zach Volker pitched at Long Beach State. So he and Dylan Lena have enjoyed Blair Field as their home ballpark before. Volker's family is in attendance this weekend. Next pitch, the first to Boyd, forces a swing and miss, down and away. 0-1 count. It's an overcast sky here in Modesto, California. The last 2 days, we've been creeping up on 100 degrees around first pitch. Today, it's a frigid 80. Still very warm, but a lot cooler. O'Brien fires again and forces another downstairs swing and miss from Boyd.
And 80 degrees could really mean 2 things. There's bad 80 and there's good 80. This is a good 80 with the shade from the clouds.
0-2. Drops in the curve for strike 3, right down the middle. O'Brien has his first strikeout of the afternoon, and it's a backwards K. He entered this game with a 6.04 earned run average. This is his second start, 4th total appearance for Long Beach. That other start, it was against these Roadsters here at Modern Woodman Field. He went 6 1/3 innings. Next pitch, called a strike inside. Runner goes for second. Throw to the bag. Dropped it short by Roche, trying to apply the tag. May have been late anyway as Tyler Williams zooms up to second base. That makes him 5 for 8 on steal attempts this season. Williams with his 5th steal, as can be inferred from that. Catcher David Whittle takes a moment to talk to his pitcher. They shared many conversations like that during the college season. Whittle playing catcher for right-hander Cole Percival when he would come back to throw some practice sessions as a pro. But in the regular season with Jackson Bird, who's out in the bullpen, and this left-hander here. 0-1 count for Bryce Cannon, runner on second. 2 away, bottom of the first, 1-0 Long Beach. O'Brien's next pitch winds outside and low. It's a 1-1 count.
And perhaps it's why he's selected this battery mate in now his past 2 outings, going 2 innings just a couple days ago back at Blair Field.
Out of the stretch, spiraled to the backstop, 1-2 count. And this is Whittle's second start, his second appearance in pro baseball, so why not put him out there with somebody he knows? That was the mantra last time out when he caught Cole Percival on Wednesday. Whittle feeling comfortable enough in the batter's box to hit a grand slam in his first professional plate appearance. Cannon digging in again here. He's 2 for 5 on the series. Next pitch, misses low and away and pops behind Whittle to the backstop on the wild pitch. Williams jogs up to third. 2-2 count. Still 1-0 Regulators on Eddie Pelk's leadoff home run in the top half of this opening frame. 2 away now in the bottom of the first. Runner on third. First and second empty. 2-2 count in the lefty-lefty affair. High leg kick. Fastball right down Second Street. And Matthew O'Brien leaves a runner on third, ending the bottom of the first inning with a 1-0 lead and back-to-back backwards Ks. As we move on to the top of the second, Cuba Best, Jacob Jablonski, and Emilio Corona due up for the visiting crew with a 1-0 lead when we return with Regulators Baseball on the Home Team Network. Top of the second inning on the way. There's only been one hit in this ball game, and it arrived in the first at bat. Eddie Pelk putting Long Beach ahead on a leadoff home run. Now in the top of the second inning, Cuba Best leads off on the left side. Opposite the righty, Omar Serrano. He winds up and fires. Best watches the fastball, land for a strike high and away. He's followed by Jacob Jablonski and Emilio Corona. Top three in home runs on this Regulators roster. Best and Corona tied with 13, Jablonski with 12. Next pitch, he swings and pops this one up behind second base. The shortstop, Jacob Lajewski, waiting on the early outfield grass. He makes the catch. One away in the top of the second inning, 1-0. The LBC leads Modesto. Let's get to the Cook quiz. Last night, we saw a peculiar thing. Both teams wore black jerseys. Now, there are a few instances that we'll talk about later where teams wore the same color jersey in a regular season game, but I'm wondering about black jerseys specifically as the Regulators suit up in the black threads today again. First pitch to the switch-hitting Jacob Jablonski. Batting on the left side, he watches a curveball for a strike high and away. Before we get to the real trivia question, I want to ask you, Joey, how many MLB teams have never worn a black jersey as a regular part of their rotation?
I feel like it's a lot.
0-1, swing and a miss, high and away.
Especially in the earlier days where the jerseys were made of wool. I can't imagine that would have been any more comfortable than just the wool itself.
I think there would be some pretty necessary trips to the river to wash those clothes out in 1895 if they were wearing the heavy black jerseys. 0-2, swung on and tipped to the back netting. Jablonski keeps the count at 0-2 there. One away, bases empty. Top two, 1-0 Regulators.
And I'm sure you're referring to the jersey being primarily black, not black incorporated in the jersey.
There are plenty of teams with black parts of the jersey. We're talking about the entire sweater itself. Next pitch misses low and outside. 1-2 count, or at least majority. Let's go with majority.
Yes.
Noticeable majority.
Well, I feel like a lot of them are recent, as usually jerseys are either gray or white.
1-2 count. High leg kick. Fastball misses high and inside. It's a 2-2 count. So there are 30 active Major League organizations. Of those 30, how many in their entire history have never worn a primarily black jersey? So excluding 2019 Players Weekend when some teams were forced to wear all black. Serrano's 2-2. Over the ankles for ball three.
I was just trying to picture one in my mind, and of course, my mind goes straight to the Rockies 2007 black vests.
So I think you can safely say that they are not one of the teams that has never won a black jersey. So how many?
Of the 30, I'd say 15.
3-2. Fastball called strike 3 at the knees. Jablonski immediately challenges. He had tossed his bat aside looking for the walk, and it looks like he'll get to take that promenade according to the ABS TrackMan challenge system. And that strike call has been overturned. A successful challenge for Jablonski, who trots off to first base. 1 on, 1 out, top 2, 1-0. Regulators, your score for Emilio Corona batting on the right side. And Joey, you're close. It's 14. 14 teams have never worn a black jersey. And the second part of the Cook quiz, which we'll answer in the bottom half of this frame, is what teams are those? Which teams have never worn a black jersey? Righty-righty affair. First pitch, hefty swing and miss over the curveball at 83 miles per hour.
Do you have a breakdown as to how many are in the AL versus the NL?
I know what teams they are, so if you give me a moment just to count, that I can get that for you. 0-1, swung on and rocketed to left center field. Chasing after it, Williams in center. That rolls to the wall. Jablonski around second, burning through third. Relay to the infield as Corona strolls into second. Jablonski jogs on home, and it's 2-0 Long Beach on an Emilio Corona drive into the gap. 1 away, top 2. Corona's double, extending the lead. Dylan Lena, who endured a relatively rough outing yesterday at 0 for 6, now can bat with some freedom with an insurance run on the board, up 2-0.
And the only force out at first, 1 out in the inning. This should be a comfortable at-bat, but still a mighty opponent in Serrano.
And a mighty opponent who has surrendered 2 extra base hits. This one, Lena swings and drives it to straightaway center field. Williams in pursuit. He leaps and he makes the catch. No, he bobbles the ball. Lena moves over to second. Corona heads up to third. Base umpire Ricardo Rodriguez, the crew chief, first base umpire David Harrison, rules that he lost the ball on the transfer. So it is a catch in center field. Corona tagged up in time to head to third, thanks to his patience waiting to see if Williams held on to that ball. Here's manager Troy Percival. He is shaking his head at that signal, and he's directed by the crew chief, Ricardo Rodriguez, over to talk with the first base umpire, David Harrison. That's a move I haven't seen before. The crew chief deflecting to a different umpire and going, no, don't talk to me. It's not my decision. Now the umpires conference. I don't know if I've ever seen an umpire just ignore the manager or direct the manager along like that.
Well, maybe David Harrison had a better view of it, watching it head to center field. Williams was on the run. It would have been a tough play to make on the run, but I guess in a professional sense, at this level, that is a catch that you should make. So I was trying to see if it was going to be deemed a hit or an error.
I thought he dropped the ball.
I think you're right.
Before going for the transfer, it looked like he leaped. The ball hit his glove, and then as he landed, it fell out. And it's not like, who is it, Jesse James, the tight end in the NFL, who had the catch, hit the ground, so the ball popped out, and that instituted the rule where the ground cannot force the ball out for a fumble or an incompletion. Well, the base umpire makes the signal confirming the out call on Lena's drive to center. Corona is safe at third. I'm wondering if Modesto would check on Corona's lead on second. And here they go. They throw to the bag. And he is deemed to have left at the appropriate time. So there are 2 away in the top of the second inning. 2-0 Regulators. David Whittle at the plate now with a runner on third. His second professional start. He began the first one with a grand slam. First pitch here. Takes a hefty cut but misses behind the slider at 86 miles per hour. Long Beach trying to clinch first place in the first half standings. Also trying to tie up the Oakland Ballers' first half wins record of 37. High leg kick. He swings, shatters his bat, bouncing that to short. Lejewski has the slow roller, sidearms to first and nabs him. Corona's double brings around Jablonski, but he only gets as far as third after that. It's 2-0 Regulators moving on to the bottom of the second. Lejewski, Liniak, and Rodriguez due up when we'll get the answer to the Cook quiz with Regulators Baseball on the Home Team Network.
Back at it for the bottom of the second inning. 2-0 Long Beach your score after Emilio Corona's double drives around Jacob Jablonski. Matthew O'Brien back on the bump, pitching to Jacob Lejewski, Kingston Liniak, and Dom Rodriguez. 5, 6, and 7 in the Modesto order. Lefty pitches to righty and misses high and outside on his first pitch there. O'Brien striking out the last two batters of the first inning, both with backwards Ks. He kicks high. Lejewski watches another heater, that one missing high and outside. We're still playing the Cook quiz. We have established that there are 14 Major League Baseball teams that have never worn a black jersey as part of its regular rotation. 2-0. Curveball sails high and outside. Now we're wondering, well, who are those 14 teams, Joey?
Well, immediately I was thinking about what's in our area. The Angels, starting off with the AL West. I don't believe they've worn a black jersey.
3-0. Fastball for a strike, low and inside. And there are 6 of these teams that are currently in the American League.
Okay. Then I thought, went over to the Texas Rangers.
3-1 misses downstairs and away, so Lejewski earns a leadoff walk, the second issued by O'Brien so far.
I don't believe the Astros had any black uniforms. So a lot of the AL West. The Dodgers, I believe they might have. Might have been an alternate at some point.
First pitch to Kingston Liniak lands for a strike on the 87-mile-per-hour fastball.
Or maybe I've just seen too many knockoffs around downtown Los Angeles.
See, isn't that the thing? You see all these jerseys on social media. You see people wearing these in person, and it does kind of color your vision of what colors these teams wear. 0-1 count. O'Brien rears back. Curveball misses high and away to Liniak. It's a 1-1 count now. And we ask this because last night we saw a peculiar sight. Both teams wearing their black jerseys. Out of the stretch. Swinging a high drive down the left field line, but foul. If Liniak pushes that one fair, that's gone in a New York minute.
And with both teams wearing the same color last night, it's not the first time that's happened. It's not the first time we've witnessed that happen in this league. I have to share the anecdote of the Sky Sox of last year. We'll tell you just after this pitch here.
1-2 from O'Brien. Misses low and away. And I will tell you, having seen them play the Rocky Mountain Vibes, who gave them the Sky Sox jerseys, there were plenty of confusing Colorado Springs-themed matchups as both teams hailed from there.
This was a travel team that was absorbed by the league.
2-2, swing and a miss. Liniak retired, and the last 3 outs from O'Brien have all been by way of the K. That brings up Dom Rodriguez on the right side. Now, while I saw the Vibes and the Sky Sox play each other, which is peculiar because the Vibes came from the original affiliated Sky Sox, that was strange in its own right, but you definitely saw something even more off-putting, I should say.
Yes.
First pitch, Rodriguez watches the fastball by his helmet for ball 1.
So the first week that the Northern Colorado Owls became the Colorado Springs Sky Sox, that was the first week of July where they came to Grand Junction where I was broadcasting last year.
1-0. Called a strike, low and inside.
And every week we had an alternate identity night known as the Grand Junction Humpback Chubs, named after an actual fish, an endangered fish in the Colorado River system.
Throw over to first, no movement.
And those jerseys were mainly white with green accents for the green humpback chub, as were the Sky Sox jerseys, white with green accents.
1-1 pitch, swing and a miss, high and away.
So, the day of, Harrison Shapiro, the GM at the time for Grand Junction, now the GM with the Yuba Sutter Freebirds, decided, well, this won't do. White on green versus white on green, that's going to look confusing.
1-2. Float at the letters. It's a 2-2 count.
So what he decided 4 hours before the game is to gift the Jackalopes jerseys, the black Jackalopes jerseys, to the Sky Sox, where they became the Jackalopes and the home crowd became the Chubs crowd. So we called it Identity Crisis Night. as the Jackalopes played the Chubs. The Jackalopes / Sky Sox ended up winning, and it was the most confusing broadcast I've ever done.
2-2, swing and a miss from Rodriguez. They are confused on the low inside curveball for the 4th strikeout in the last 5 batters for Matthew O'Brien. Two-way runner on first, 2-0 Long Beach for the righty Harry Owen. And now, Joey, with that in mind, what are your guesses for any of the 14 teams that have never worn a black jersey?
Yeah, let's get back on track here.
This pitch belted foul to the left side. I will tell you, we do have guesses from the Modesto press box. They say they have 13 teams of the 14 decided, but what are your picks?
Well, I said the Angels, Mariners. I was thinking Mariners.
They're both on there.
They had the turn back the clock jerseys, but that's not included in this. We already discussed.
0-1, foul to the back netting, and those were not black anyway. For the most part, those were red.
Yes, and speaking of red, the Cincinnati Reds.
That guess is incorrect.
Yeah.
They have worn a black jersey during the Ken Griffey Jr. Adam Dunn days.
You're right.
2 strikes, 2 away. O'Brien deals. This one fouled off again. I can give you the full list if you'd like. Do you have any more last-second guesses?
Nationals?
Nationals, neither the Nationals nor the Expos ever wore a black jersey.
Not the Marlins.
You're saying the Marlins have worn a black jersey?
Yeah.
Yes.
In the modern era, too.
0-2, misses inside and low. 1-2 count.
I'm just like working my way geographically kind of up the East Coast. The Yankees, surely.
Never worn a black jersey, not even when they were the New York Highlanders or the original Baltimore Orioles. Next pitch, a curveball by the Sox.
George Steinbrenner would be rolling in his grave. The Mets definitely have.
Yes, Jose Reyes, David Wright days.
Mike Piazza as well. That might be the end of my guesses.
2-2. Swung on, bounced down the third base side, and foul. Well, I can tell you that the Modesto press box, has guessed the Dodgers. That's correct. The Cubs, correct. Phillies, correct. The Angels, also correct. I hesitated to say 6 American League teams because once upon a time the Milwaukee Brewers were in the AL. They're correct. St. Louis Cardinals, yes. San Diego Padres, correct. Cleveland Guardians, correct. Yankees, Red Sox, Twins, Tigers, incorrect. Tigers have worn a black jersey. The Mariners, that's correct. Fouled off to the near side. The Tigers, of course, wear their Motor City alternate jerseys. So the teams to add to that are the Texas Rangers, who you did mention. And I believe they went without saying the Atlanta Braves. So 14 teams all across Major League Baseball. 2-2. This one popped up right field side, waiting underneath Matthew Bardwell. Drives in a couple steps and makes the catch for out number 3. 2-0 Regulators before we depart. One more time through that list. None of these teams have ever worn a black jersey in Major League Baseball. Red Sox, Yankees, Guardians, Braves, Phillies, Nationals, Cubs, Brewers, Cardinals, Rangers, Mariners, Angels, Dodgers, and Padres. We'll leave you at that while we head to the top of the third inning with Regulators Baseball on the Home Team Network. Taking a trip back to the top of the order for the Long Beach Regulators here in the top of the third inning, leading 2-0. The first at-bat of this ball game gave Long Beach the lead. Eddie Pelk back at the plate after firing off a solo homer to begin this game. The right-hander, Omar Serrano, retakes the rubber. Pelk followed by Patrick Roche and Cooper Vest, lefty-righty-lefty combination. Serrano kicks up high. He throws inside and behind Pelk on the fastball. 1-0 count there. Pelk shakes his head, keeps his eyes down, and walks back into the lefty box after dodging that pitch. His homer in the first inning marked his 6th on the year, 4th on the road. Out of the windup, again behind him. Pelk looks back at the mound for a moment, now resets, and home plate umpire Blake Dempsey issues warnings to both dugouts. We've seen tensions flare in this series, Joey.
Yeah, back on Friday night, we saw a few hit by pitches, last night we saw a few hit by pitches that kind of led to that tension.
And correction earlier, that was Pelk's 7th home run, 5th on the road this season. Serrano winds home again and sails the curveball, helmet high, but closer to the right-handed batter's box than where Pelk stands on the left side.
That didn't even really seem like a real pitch as it slipped out of his hands.
The tall righty fires home again and misses up high. A 4-pitch walk pushes Eddie Pelk aboard. Walking man walk on by for the 70th time this season. 70 hits, 70 walks in the first half of the season.
And he's just 2 away from breaking into the top 5 in season base on balls in the all-time Modern-Era record.
Evan Scavato set the mark of 86 last year for the Grand Junction Jackalopes. Pelk is definitely on his way to blasting through that. He's on pace for about 140 walks. First pitch to Patrick Roche. Misses up high, 1-0 count. If you stretched out his average for a full Major League season, he would eclipse Barry Bonds' mark of 232. He's on pace for right around 242. 1-0. Misses inside and high to Roche. And Serrano, maybe it's a show of good faith that he didn't mean to throw behind Pelk on the first 2 pitches. He has yet to throw a strike this inning. That's 6 straight balls. Roche struck out swinging for the first out of the game in the first inning. Pelk, a tight lead off of first. Next pitch, Roche swings, cracks that one. Third base side and through the gap into left field. The first hittable pitch Serrano tosses here in the top of the third is knocked into left. And there are runners on first and second for Long Beach. Cooper Vest coming up to the plate now. 2-0 Regulators your score.
After the Coast/Regulators score in the first 2 innings, the key is continuing to push ahead, as it was kind of a low-scoring affair for most of the game last night.
Serrano from the stretch. Vest, a gregarious swing over the curveball for strike 1. Serrano standing at 6'3", lanky at just 205 pounds. He steadies again, staring down Vest, fresh off of his 2-hit performance last night. Crucial in the win for Long Beach. Next pitch, he swings and ropes that one down the right field line into the corner. Pelk rounds third. He gets the stop sign from third base and hitting coach Troy Gloss. Patrick Roche caught between second and third. He dives back to the bag. Throw to second is offline, so everybody is safe. After Pelk charged around third, Roche didn't see the stop sign holding up his left fielder, so he had to chop his feet between the bases and rush on back. The bases are loaded for Matthew Bardowell. And that is a scary sight for any team. Bardowell this season has already hit a pair of grand slams, and last night his dinger to dead center ended up being the game winner for Long Beach, coming from behind with that 9th inning homer. First pitch, the righty swings and tears that one into shallow center field. Here comes Pelk. Roche right behind him, holds up at third base, and it's 3-0 Long Beach, scoring in each of the first 3 innings. Bases remain loaded with nobody out. Now for Cuba Bess, who's tied with Emilio Corona for the team lead in home runs at 13. Bess also the team leader in RBIs this year with 60. Righty pitching to a lefty. First one on the way. Best swings and misses behind the fastball.
And this was the same situation, at least the start of this inning was the same situation of what happened last night, loading up the bases with nobody out, but this time the Coast charge and get one across the plate.
Next pitch misses high and outside for a 1-1 count. And remember, Long Beach, through its first 2 times loading the bases, went 0 for 5 when pushing runners all around the base path. Next pitch, Best swings and flares this one to deep right center field, tracking over Boyd. In front of the wall, he makes the catch on the warning track, hurls back to the infield. Roche scores from third. Cooper Vest moves up from second to the hot corner, and it's 4-0 Long Beach with its first multi-run inning of the afternoon. Rather, the morning. It's still 11:46. An early one today, starting at 11:04 a.m. on Getaway Day Sunday, the last ball game of the first half of the Pioneer League season. Jacob Jablonski batting from the left side. The switch hitter leans in over the plate. First pitch, and he leans back away from the fastball by his chin. If Long Beach wins this game, first place in the first half standings belongs to the LBC. That has important playoff implications because it guarantees home field advantage for the first round. Next pitch, swing and a miss, high and away. It's a 1-1 count for Jablonski. The Billings Mustangs are a half game behind Long Beach, but because they played one fewer game, there are a few questions about who gets first place and what tiebreaker. 1-1. He swings and misses low and away. Billings and Long Beach never play each other this season, so the first tiebreaker, head-to-head matchups, doesn't matter. What does matter after that is runs allowed per game, and the LBC holds the advantage there with just 6.5 allowed per contest. Billings all the way up at 7.5. 1-2 from the stretch. Helmet high. 2-2 count. Another fun thing we've been keeping track of is if the Regulators win today, that's 37 in the first half, that ties what the Oakland Ballers set for the Pioneer League MLB Partner League era record for wins in the first 48 games. Both teams would finish the first half 37-11. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Jablonski lunging after the curveball at 79 miles per hour, high and away. Serrano's second strikeout of the ball game signals the second out of this third inning. 4-0, the Regulators lead with runners on the corners, and now 2 away in the top of this third. Emilio Corona batting on the right side. Last time up, he charged a double to dead center. Serrano from the stretch, winds home. Corona swings and batters that one into shallow center field. Another run comes home in the form of Cooper Vest from third. Barnwell moves up to second. It's 5-0 Long Beach in the top of the third inning. Emilio Corona, 2 for 2 with an RBI double in the second and an RBI single here in the third. Dylan Lena taking a turn now. Last time up, his at-bat ended in manager Troy Percival requiring a discussion with the officiating crew. Tyler Williams gloved the ball in center, and the umpires ruled that he dropped it while transferring to his throwing hand. The Regulators thought maybe he just dropped it altogether. First pitch to Lena, he checks his swing, and first base umpire David Harrison confirms that he went around for strike one. We rarely see Troy Percival red-faced, but Joey, I don't think he was too happy about that call last inning.
No, as he had to pop out for the second time of the series.
0-1. Swing and a miss on the curve downstairs. 0-2 count.
The first time was a controversial play on Friday. Osiris Johnson, who's out of the lineup tonight for the Modesto Roadsters, sending a ground rule double, or what would have been a ground rule double, down the left field line. The umpire crew was unaware of Bardowell putting his hands up.
0-2. Serrano from the stretch. Lena swings and misses. Third strikeout for Serrano ends the top of the third inning. Not before, in the theme of threes, the Regulators mount a triplet there. 5-0 your score, moving on to the bottom of the third. 9-1-2 due up for the hometown crew in Sutter, Handren, and Williams, with Regulators baseball returning with Matthew O'Brien on the bump on the Home Team Network. Rolling back to it in Modesto with a 5-0 lead for Long Beach. Bottom of the third inning on the way. 9-1-2 coming up for the Roadsters. Logan Sutter, Max Handren, and Tyler Williams due up. The left-hander Matthew O'Brien in his first professional season has dealt a pair of innings in which he has not allowed a run or a hit. First pitch to Logan Sutter. He swings and misses at the curveball high and away. 0-1 count. O'Brien in his second professional start, fourth appearance for Long Beach, deals again. Fastball for a strike, low and away. But home plate umpire Blake Dempsey quickly has to turn around as Sutter challenges that pitch. And the ABS strike zone challenge system confirms the strike call. So Modesto is 0 for 1 on challenge attempts, which means they only have one remaining in the Pioneer League. You start the game with 2 challenges. If you get it right, you keep going. If you get it wrong, you lose one, and then the other after that if you get another one wrong. 0-2, swipe and a miss on the curveball by his ankles. And Matthew O'Brien has struck out 5 batters one time through the order now.
That is now his season and career high with his 5th punch-out. Starting to trend upward after his last relief appearance that went 2 innings where he struck out 4.
O'Brien, who started every game in the college season, sets up now against the lefty Max Handren. First pitch, a curveball over his helmet. 1-0 count. At UC Riverside this past NCAA season, he mounted a .475 ERA. Highlight kick. Fastball misses high and outside, 2-0 count. We talked about his better performances. One of them a 3-game stretch, allowing just 1 earned run each. 2-0. Swung on, bounced down the first base line. Vest dives and pounces on it. He races to the bag for the out. 2 away in the bottom of the third. 5-0 Long Beach. Cooper Vest diving down the first base line to snare that one. Helps out O'Brien a great deal.
Handren just has to be frustrated. He's tried to work that line, but Cooper Vest has gotten him twice tonight on the 3 unassisted.
Now it brings up Tyler Williams, and he is a dangerous bat, batting .370 in now his 22nd game with Modesto. Lefty pitches to righty. A statue at the plate watches the curveball land down the middle for strike 1. O'Brien from the windup. Curveball high and outside. And again, reflecting on that stretch of 3 straight games, allowing just 1 earned run each, it ended on April 18th at Blair Field in Long Beach. 1-1 count. Swung on, corkscrewed to second. Jacob Jablonski on it. Fields at the hip, throws on to first. And that's 3 innings without a hit for Modesto. 5-0 Long Beach your score, heading off to the top of the 4th. Joey Miller will take you through the next 3 innings on the play-by-play with 9-1-2 due up for the Regulators on the Home Team Network.
Into the 4th we go, and everything has trended the way of the Regulators. 5-0. Joey Miller, Jesse Cook from the press box at Modern Woodman Field in Modesto, California, for the first time on the road, bringing you all the action on the Coast Media Network. David Whittle swings and misses at the curveball from Serrano to kick things off here in the top of the fourth. Matthew O'Brien on the other side of things has been absolutely handling the Modesto Roadsters lineup. No hits through 3, and only 2 left on from a pair of walks. Other than that, he has struck out 5. As the next pitch skips in the coal mine in the dirt for ball 1. I know we did that as part of the broadcast video that you can view on our Instagram account. High fastball, swing and a miss for strike 2, where we tried to work in words into the broadcast. Surprise.
A lot of people really liked coal mine.
Yeah, so I might just work that into my everyday vernacular.
If you ever call a game in West Virginia, that's going to go crazy.
Oh, I'm sure. Or at UTEP. The 1-2 spiked in the coal mine for a ball 2 and an even count to David Whittle, who is in his second professional game since that grand slam that kicked off his professional at-bats. He has been 0 for 4 since, or 0 for 3 since. Next pitch popped up in the infield, and Lejewski calls off Sutter for out number 1.
I know we're not terribly far away from uranium and carbon mining areas here in desert country. I know in Utah I passed a lot of places with signs about the historical nature of different spots around the barren, otherwise wasteland.
Eddie Pelk now takes a pitch up and in, and these two have history. Serrano fired 2 pitches behind Pelk's back, leading to a 4-pitch walk. Just last inning that kicked off a 3-run rally where 8 batters came to the plate, and now this one skips under Harry Owen for ball 2. Serrano not wanting to pitch to Pelk after he sent one over the right field wall to kick off this game in the top of the first. Since then, the Regulators have been regulating in this 5-0 shutout thus far. Now, Serrano finally finds the strike zone on the fastball right over the heart of the plate, and Eddie Pelk can now find something he likes. Middle infield shifted slightly to the right side for the lefty Pelk, who takes the next curveball below the knees. Finds himself in another 3-ball count. 3-1 is the count. Just got his 70th walk of the season as well as his 70th hit on that home run to right field. Spikes this one in the air, shallow left field. The other way with it, Liniak takes care of out number 2. That fastball cut up and in on Pelk. He had to draw his hands in last second and try and get some late contact that did not work in his favor. And now with 2 outs, Patrick Roche will come up to the plate here, trying to continue the trend of scoring in every inning, as has been the trend the first 3 innings. But now Serrano has a chance to get his first 0 on the board. Softly, a changeup finds the zone at 84 miles per hour. A called strike on Roche, who is 1 for 2 this now afternoon at noon exactly. We have reached the afternoon of this Saturday evening. Now this one on a line drive into right field. Boyd leisurely ranging back and makes the grab for out number 3. So the first 1, 2, 3 and the first 0 on the board for the reigning pitcher of the month, Omar Serrano. Still a 5-0 Regulators lead as we send it to the bottom of the 4th. We'll be right back on Home Team Network and the Coast Media Network. Bottom of the fourth, after the Coast/Regulators go scoreless for the first time this now afternoon. To the plate now to face O'Brien is Justin Boyd. He'll be followed by Bryce Cannon and Jacob Lejewski. Two lefties in this lineup against the lefty, including Bryce Cannon in the on-deck circle. It's now a 1-1 count as the second pitch is fouled towards the Regulators' dugout. Every Sunday day game, I like to provide my own little segment that I like to refer to as Miller's Musings, in reference to the Cook Quiz, just only on day games, on Sundays specifically. There is a challenge on a pitch that was called a strike. And it appears that it will likely go the way of Whittle, the catcher, who calls for that challenge. And it is, in fact, overturned. They are 2 for 2 this afternoon. We kicked off this broadcast at 10:50 for the pregame show, 10:40, a.m. The game started at 11:04 a.m., making this our earliest broadcast of the season. There's a swing and a miss. Number 6 on the day for Matthew O'Brien gets out number 1 here in the bottom of the first. And with that, it got me thinking, what are some milestones for the earliest broadcasts ever in terms of historically the first ever sports broadcasts?
1921, a boxing match in Pittsburgh.
You are correct. KDKA
Which my friend used to work at that TV station after it transferred from radio to TV.
You are correct to an extent. It is not the first sportscast to have ever been aired. The next pitch cuts up and in, and it's the first base runner since the leadoff walk in the second. That is now 6 in a row, ended the streak for Matthew O'Brien, who allows the third base runner of the game the painful way to Bryce Cannon, bringing up Jacob Lejewski. So, yes, it was the boxing match in 1921, but do you know the first sporting event ever broadcasted? Next pitch missing high for ball 1, not with a specific station.
Well, I know the first professional event, the first rather publicized event as a team sport in a newspaper was a collegiate rowing match. So I'm going to assume that it's some form of race, either rowing or horse racing.
You are correct, but it is not rowing. It does involve boats.
Sailing.
Sailing, yes. The 1899 America's Cup held in New York City's harbor. It's a sailing competition, the oldest international competition still operating in any sport. It began 175 years ago in 1851.
I know Long Beach in-arena host Ryan Sanders will be happy about that. He avidly broadcasts sailing in the LBC.
Next pitch, a changeup in the zone for strike 1, a 1-1 count to Lejewski with a runner at first and 1 out. Now, the broadcaster for this sailing event at the turn of the 19th century, there's a swing and a miss for strike 2, was a guy by the name of Guglielmo Marconi. Do you know that name?
Say his first name again?
Guglielmo Marconi, an Italian.
I have not heard of him before.
This one off the end of the bat, charged over the head of Patrick Roche, and that kills the no-hitter. Runners at first and second, the second time the Roadsters have had a runner in scoring position on this afternoon. So Marconi was widely credited as the inventor of wireless wave-based radio. He won the 1909 Nobel Peace Prize in physics. So radio would not be what it is today without Marconi. And he was the broadcaster. I don't know if it was play-by-play or what, and I'm sure the audio quality was not very great at the time in 1899, but it was at the 1899 America's Cup. that leads me to the first pre-recorded sports broadcast, which I have a little bit of a tie to. Not directly, because it was in 1911. First pitch sent in the air to left field by Kingston Liniak. Eddie Pelk is under it. He makes the grab. Everybody stays put. That's out number 2.
1911. So you were what, graduating high school then?
Yeah, I know. No, I am not that old. But November 25th, 1911, the pre-recorded broadcast was a wireless telegraph to Lawrence, Kansas, as a purely technical play-by-play of a football game between the Kansas Jayhawks and the Missouri Tigers. A game that ended in a 3-3 tie. And this is a very important game, as the first pitch misses inside to Dom Rodriguez, now with 2 outs and 2 on. 5-0 is the score. The Regulators lead things. This game was recognized as the first ever homecoming game in history, a tradition that many other schools have claimed to have invented. This one in the air to left field. Eddie Pelk, again under it, grabs it out of the sky for out number 3. I'll tell you more about this event on the other side of the break as we send it to the 5th. 5-0 Regulators on the Coast Media Network and Home Team Network. Fifth inning, and Omar Serrano back on the bump for the Roadsters. 5-0 Regulators. The first scoreless inning, full scoreless inning in this ball game after the Regulators got 5 on the board, 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third. And now Cooper Vest is going to try and get some more insurance runs here at Modern Woodman Field. The first pitch from Serrano curves into the zone inside to the lefty for strike 1. We were talking about a lot of firsts because this is the earliest broadcast we have done, so we're looking back at the earliest sports broadcasts in history. There's a swing and a miss at another breaking ball, curving outside for an 0-2 count. We were just talking about the first ever homecoming game, the border war rivalry between the Kansas Jayhawks and the Missouri Tigers, a rivalry that is still ongoing. My alma mater, the Missouri Tigers. There's a swing and a miss. The tag applied by Owen as it was dropped in the dirt. And that is the third strikeout of the day for Omar Serrano. So that was a pre-recorded, telegraphed football game where essentially a play would happen and some person would telegraph back to Lawrence, Kansas, okay, this guy advanced 5 yards, so-and-so. So not a full play-by-play as is accustomed to today's standards, what we do here. First pitch missing inside to Matthew Bardowell, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI single back in the third, that third inning where the 3 runs came across the plate. Now that brings me to the KDKA point that you brought up, the first sports broadcast. This one in the air, down the left field line, hooking towards the short wall. It kicks off the wall on a one-hop. Matthew Bardowell settles into second with a one-out double. A runner in scoring position now for Cuba Bess, the DH this afternoon.
Bardowell attacked that high inside breaking ball, gave himself enough time on something that was dipping down closer towards 80 miles per hour there, and just attacked like he has all series.
Now Cuba Bess, he has yet to get a hit. He's 0 for 1, a sacrifice fly in the third. But for KDKA, they were also responsible for the first Major League Baseball broadcast the very same year in 1921. Now, KDKA was one of the first ever radio stations that when it was just kind of coming into its golden era in 1920. Their first ever broadcast, as the next pitch misses low and inside to Cuba Bess for a 1-1 count. The first broadcast was by a former electrician who was hired by KDKA in 1920 to announce the results of the presidential election, where Warren G. Harding, a different Warren G. from the Regulators that we're accustomed to, beat James M. Cox. There's a swing and a miss at a fastball cutting outside for a 1-2 count on Bess. Then the very next year, on August 5th, the Pirates played the Phillies, and the Pirates beat the Phillies 8-5. And broadcaster Harold Arlen was the man on the call that game. Next pitch fouled off third base side, still 1-2. Harold Arlen, like I mentioned, a former electrician, he was hired to try and MacGyver the first microphone at the ballpark. He converted a telephone into a microphone, so probably not the best audio quality.
Well, that's still how some broadcasts are technically function, through something called a Comrex.
This one, a line drive caught at the shoe tops of Sutter and then on to second. Bardowell was caught between second and third, so a double play there ends that inning and clears up the base paths. Another 0 on the board for the Regulators. Again, more on this when we turn this over to the bottom of the fifth when we come back on the Coast Media Network and Home Team Network. I was fascinated reading through a lot of this history here. Oh, yeah, we did use a Comrex for the KCOU station in Mizzou. Yeah. Yep. All right, here we go. Bottom of the fifth, 5-0 Regulators, and Matthew O'Brien back on the bump. He's only allowed 3 base runners in the first 16 batters he's faced. He lost his no-hitter last inning, giving up a single to Jacob Lejewski. Now it's going to be Harry Owen, Logan Sutter, and back to the top of the lineup with Max Hendren. Joey Miller, Jesse Cook on the call in this final game of the first half. And O'Brien starts off the righty Owen with a 2-0 count, missing low on both occasions. So, if you're just catching up or you're just tuning in, there's a called strike. We are talking about a lot of firsts in broadcast. We just mentioned the first ever Major League Baseball broadcast on the radio by Harold Arlen for KDKA. Next pitch missing for ball 3 as O'Brien is picking up the pace, so as will I. The first televised MLB broadcast, do you know what that was? Pitch misses, but it's going to be challenged by Whittle, and it's going to be a pretty successful one at that. That was right down the heart of the plate, according to the ABS.
Yeah, it's a hard one to miss. Now, for first televised game, I'd have to imagine that it was a World Series contest.
It was not.
So this is a regular season game?
We'll get to the World Series in the very next part of this. It was a normal regular season game on August 26, 1939 on W2XBS. And the broadcaster was the legendary Red Barber. This one sent in the air to right center. Corona comes over to his left to make the grab on that 3-2 count to retire Owen for the first out of the bottom of the 5th.
Red Barber was Vin Scully before Vin Scully.
Right, he was the inspiration to Vin Scully. He announced a doubleheader at Ebbets Field between the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds won the first game 5-2. The Dodgers took the second one 6-1. And the one thing I found most interesting about that first ever televised broadcast, not many people owned a television set, but they had 2 camera angles for that broadcast. Next pitch fouled off by Logan Sutter, a 1-1 count. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. We have broadcasted some games at the Collegiate Summer League level, often which only have 1 stationary camera angle, but the first ever televised broadcast had 2. This one down the right field line. Bardwell makes the grab just about 5 feet shy of that line.
Joey, I've called games at the professional level where there are 0 cameras.
Yeah. Yes, so there was 1 behind home plate on the second deck of Ebbets Field and 1 near the Reds dugout on the third base side. Now, let's talk about the first televised World Series. Do you know what year that was?
I'd have to imagine sometime in the 40s.
It was. Now, the lefty Handren takes the first pitch that cuts outside on the slider. 1-0. He's grounded out to first. His last 2 times up. He's 0 for 2. Takes the next pitch on the outside edge for strike 1.
Would it be Hammer and Hank Greenberg and the Tigers in 45, or maybe 46 with that thrilling 7-game Cardinals win over the Red Sox?
You are so awfully close. As this one sent in the air to center field, I'll just tell you, 1947, Yankees beat the Dodgers in 7 games. It was the first World Series appearance for rookie Jackie Robinson, the TV broadcasters Bob Stanton, Bob Edge, and Bill Slater, the radio broadcasters, the legendary Mel Allen and Red Barber. I have 1 more point to make. We'll make it in the 6th. We go. It is still 5-0. Regulators on top here on the Coast Media Network and Home Team Network. We're through 5, and we got 4 more to go. Bringing you the action here from Modern Woodman Field. 5-0 Regulators, 2 straight innings, the 4th and the 5th, scoreless. And Serrano still starting for the Roadsters into his 6th frame. Joey Miller, Jesse Cook, and Jacob Jablonski, Emilio Corona, and Dylan Lena will kick things off here in the top of the 6th. The first pitch to Jablonski is golfed in the air, foul, third base side, and into the bleachers for strike 1. We've been talking throughout these past couple innings about famous firsts in terms of sports broadcast, today being the earliest broadcast that we've done this season for the Long Beach Coast. We've talked about the first baseball broadcast. We've talked about the first World Series, the first televised broadcast. There's a swing and a miss for Jacob Jablonski, who is caught up on the changeup there. It's an 0-2 count. The last point I have to make ties into the two new teams, the California teams, Modesto and Long Beach, the two newest teams of the Pioneer League that's been around since 1939. There's a swing and a foul ball back to the home plate net.
Off of catcher Harry Owen. This has been a rough week for catcher's mask because that one bounced straight off the wiring. I'm looking down there. I'm wondering, did he bend a wire with how hard that ball left the bat?
He might have. The athletic trainer for the Roadsters is out there kneeling with Henry Owen still in his squat. He's nodding along. He's responsive. That's good. Jablonski is out of the circle behind home plate. Serrano just kind of casually waiting on the mound. I think this should be hopefully a quick pause here, but they might have to check him for the concussion protocol, as we saw with Johnny Pappas last night, who gets the day off today. And Harry Owen is going to be just fine, or actually they're going to test him out here.
What's the XFL line? Am I or am I not conscious? Yes, I am. Is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. Let's play ball.
Who are you, Rene Descartes? Jacob Jablonski, an 0-2 count. Nobody on and nobody out. Top six, 5-0 Regulators. Serrano slowly from the full, missing outside on the breaking ball for a 1-2 count. So the final famous first I have for you, the first West Coast MLB broadcast. This was the first game after both the New York Giants, the New York Baseball Giants, and the Brooklyn Dodgers ditched Ebbets Field and the Polo Grounds, headed towards the Golden State. Curveball, 12-6, misses below the knees for ball two. That took place on April 15th, 1958, on the Los Angeles station KTTV. And the game happened just 88 miles west of where we are right now. Next pitch missing inside for what becomes a 3-2 count. Started off as an 0-2 count for Jacob Jablonski. That was at the former home of the San Francisco Giants, Seals Stadium, which is no longer. I think I've learned it's now a Safeway or a Kroger of some sort, which is kind of sad. Next pitch misses inside. It's going to be challenged by Serrano.
And that, I believe that will be confirmed as a ball. But, we've been talking about Pittsburgh a lot. My favorite part of the University of Pitt campus and Carnegie Mellon, where my sister earned her graduate degree. So
and my uncle teaches at, by the way.
Well, fantastic. My favorite part of that entire campus is that they still have the Forbes Field wall up. So you can go stand where Yogi Berra stood when he was in center field watching Bill Mazeroski's walk-off World Series winning home run.
The classic Lawrence Peter Berra out of St. Louis, Missouri. Grew up in the Hill, the Italian-American district in St. Louis. Next pitch misses outside for the first pitch to Emilio Corona for ball one.
And I've got a couple notes for you on this subject. There is a president who made his debut on the airwaves on calling football and baseball games.
Next pitch fouled off third base side. Who is that?
A former Chicago Cubs broadcaster by the name of Ronald Reagan.
Ah, yes.
From Yorba Linda, California.
That ties it into the Golden State. We were talking about the first West Coast MLB broadcast, and of course, that call was the iconic legend that we both grew up admiring, Mr. Vin Scully. Next pitch misses outside. Owen stays in front of it, and Jacob Jablonski was off at second. There was no throw down to second, so he's going to get a stolen base there as Corona finds his way into a 2-1 count.
And correction, Reagan, who spent a lot of time in Simi Valley. It's actually Nixon from Yorba Linda. Mixing up my presidents.
Yeah, well, there's, only 46 of them?
45 total.
Yes, that is right, because
47
two non-consecutive.
technically, yeah, different presidents. But yeah, Ronald Reagan got his start on the radio calling baseball and football, and he very briefly was a Cubs broadcaster.
Next pitch misses low and outside. A 3-1 count for Corona.
And I believe the first broadcaster ever inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. The namesake for the award was Ford C. Frick, because, yes, he was commissioner, but very early on, he was the radio broadcaster for the New York Yankees.
There's a swing and a miss. Corona fooled on the breaking ball. He's 2 for 2 today. A pair of RBI hits. Now he's at risk of a potential strikeout. But Vin Scully was on that call. 8-0, the Giants shut out over the Dodgers, and that concludes the Miller's musings. As this one is fouled off to the first base bleachers, over the first base bleachers. And another 6-pitch count like Jacob Jablonski had before he was walked on the challenge that now concludes the challenges on the day and the first half for the Modesto Roadsters. They go 0 for 2. Long Beach still has both challenges that they can fail. This one in the air to left field. Liniak back at the warning track. It's off the top of the wall. Jablonski comes around to score, and that is 3 hits for Emilio Corona, all of which have cashed in a run. 3 RBI for Mr. Corona. Getting one more on the board. It is 6-0 Regulators here in the top of the 6th. His second double of the day as well, and his 7th hit of the series has been absolutely fantastic these past couple of nights.
7 for 12, 5 RBIs, couple extra base hits now, not to mention 3 stolen bases, all in a weekend's work.
That will propel him into the second half. He was the first home run on the very first day of this first half. Now Dylan Lena sends one out into right center, but Boyd is under it for out number 1. Corona advances to third. It is a productive out. Dylan Lena now 0 for 3 and 0 for his last 13 at-bats. David Whittle to the plate with 1 out and a runner 90 feet away from scoring the potential 7th run of this game. Coming into this series, Long Beach averaged about 7 runs a game on the Roadsters, the least amount of runs per game averaged for any team that they played so far this season. David Whittle gets one on the ground to Handren, who gets it over to first. The infield was drawn in to try and cut the run. They successfully do so on the first pitch. 2 pitches, 2 outs after the RBI double from Corona. Now Eddie Pelk to the plate. The infielders back in normal depth. Righty on lefty, Serrano kicks back and fires the first pitch to Pelk, a breaking ball. Looked pretty good from this angle, but it was up and in. The correct call there from Blake Dempsey behind the plate. 1-0 count. Pelk has walked this afternoon, or perhaps this morning, because we've crossed into this afternoon. It is 12:31 p.m. Pacific time. Next pitch in the dirt, the coal mine, for ball 2. Pelk led off this game with a home run. The second home run that Serrano has surrendered to the Long Beach Coast / Regulators. The first was in his first appearance against the Coast. That was back in mid-June. That was to Matthew Bardowell. Now a diving stop by Sutter, preventing this one from getting into right center. Ends the inning and prevents any further damage for Serrano, who has now given up a run in 4 of his initial 6 innings of work. It is 6-0. Long Beach on top heading into the bottom of the 6th. Matthew O'Brien will be back on the bump when we come back on the Coast Media Network and Home Team Network. Serrano completes 6 innings of work. He has given up 6 runs, all earned, including an Emilio Corona RBI double. 3 of those 6 runs have come off the bat of Corona, who is now 3 for 3. And now Matthew Bryan on this other side of the bump. He has worked his way into his longest professional outing in his 2nd career start. The first pitch is sent in the air to right center. Corona, the aforementioned Corona, settles under it for out number 1. That is now 6 straight retired for O'Brien from the bottom of the 4th, now here into the bottom of the 6th. And he has been so efficient. Justin Boyd, followed by Bryce Cannon, to face off against O'Brien from UC Riverside. The first pitch hits for strike 1 to the righty Justin Boyd, who is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts, and on the night, or the afternoon, 6 strikeouts, missing there for ball 1, evening up the count at 1 apiece. He has rarely worked his way into a 3-ball count this afternoon, only 3 times. This one into left field. Eddie Pelk pauses and collects for out number 2. So 4 pitches and 2 outs here in the 6th. O'Brien looking for his 4th shutdown inning of the day to carry this Regulators team into the final 3 frames of what could potentially be their 6th series sweep. This one, a line drive into right field, and that's going to fall for the 2nd hit he has issued today. Bryce Cannon on the first pitch turns on the off speed. Goes the pole way. There is some action in the Regulators pen, but I think O'Brien is going to be awarded the chance to finish this inning out. With 2 outs and a runner at first, Jacob Lejewski now to the plate. First pitch missing low and inside on the breaking ball. Ball 1 for Lejewski, who was 1 for 1. He accounts for the other hit on the scoreboard in the H column for the Roadsters this afternoon. Takes another ball. He also accounts for one of the 2 walks and 3 free bases O'Brien has given up. Next pitch below the knees on the changeup. O'Brien's been going to that changeup quite frequently this afternoon, and hey, if it works, it works. It didn't on that Bryce Cannon single, but let's just hope that's an outlier. The 3-0 hits for strike 1, again on that changeup. Lejewski this series now 3 for 10 with 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. The hitters count 3-1. Cuts inside. Nice changeup as well with some horizontal break inside. That might have actually been the slider. Nevertheless, it gets him just a strike away from evading the bottom of the 6th. 6 runs of run support for number 5, Matthew O'Brien. There goes the runner as the pitch is popped up behind home plate. Whittle staring into the sky, and it gets over the net onto the concourse for some excited young fans here in Modesto. The fans here, the promotions here, and the staff here have been nothing short of incredible for us, and we thank them very, very much for the accommodations in our first road trip of the season. There goes the runner again as the pitch misses outside for ball 4. Now runners at first and second. First runner in scoring position since the 4th inning. And the 3rd walk of the day for O'Brien. And Jerome Williams is going to have a chat with his rookie left-hander.
But you are correct. This has been an absolute joy to be here. Modesto, like Long Beach, is doing a lot of things right in its inaugural season. I mean, the branding around both the ballparks, turning from a different team in such a short time span, has been incredible. Long Beach, you bear the burden of having to turn it back to the Dirtbags after the season is over. because Long Beach State will reuse that field during its college season. Modesto was awarded a little bit more time to take away the Modesto Nuts branding. But either way, you probably would not be able to tell that a different team had ever played at either of those ballparks with what a fantastic job the operations and marketing teams have done.
And credit to the owner, Dave Heller, to get such a fantastic group of guys in here to Modesto to change this entire stadium, rebrand to the Roadsters, and get the community excited about this new ball club. A lot of fantastic promotions that we've seen this past weekend as well. As the first pitch misses high and outside the Kingston Liniac. Runners at first and second and 2 outs for Matthew O'Brien. 6-0 in the bottom of the 6th. We saw a bobblehead night last night. Rob Nen, the former Giants pitcher and teammate of JT Snow, who was featured in the 2002 World Series, in which he was defeated by Troy Gloss and Troy Percival in the other dugout. 2-0 count as the next pitch cuts inside as well. O'Brien from the stretch, the 2-0. Fouled back for strike 1. And then today's promotion, I believe they're going to drop a bunch of money on the crowd or on the field. Not sure how that's going to work. But it kind of seems like a fun little Dave & Buster's gimmick where you just drop a bunch of bills and see what happens. What the heck? 2-1. Bends inside. And now the second consecutive 3-ball count. Prior to this inning, O'Brien had only worked his way into this scenario 3 times in the past 5 innings. He's walked a runner and given up his second hit. Gets a called strike there. Kingston Liniac was 1.5 steps towards first, thinking that he got another walk off of the left-hander. Instead, it's going to be a full count. Both runners will be off on the pitch. O'Brien shakes off a sign. Now finds one he likes from his college battery mate, Whittle. Next pitch missing up and outside, back-to-back walks. And that looks like it's going to be it for Matthew O'Brien. My hat off to O'Brien, who has turned his season around, his young season around after his first start did not go his way and has been absolutely phenomenal. He's worked his way into a tricky situation, but now the relief pitcher, a right-hander coming onto the mound, will try and just complete this inning and complete his line, his fantastic line. 6-0 Regulators. Will be right back on the Coast Media Network and Home Team Network. First pitching change of the day is Ryan Fawkes, the right-hander from Rancho Santa Margarita, California. And he's going to try and finish out this inning that Matthew O'Brien kicked off. Now his line is almost complete, 5 2/3, and Fox is going to try and complete it for him as he gets strike one on Dom Rodriguez, the DH, for the Roadsters, who trail 6-0, but they've loaded up the bases. It's the second time they've had a runner 90 feet away from scoring their first. After a couple of consecutive walks, this one knuckled inside out to the first baseman, Vest, who quickly gets it to first in time, leaving the bases stranded and continuing this shutout performance. 6-0. And my hat's off to O'Brien, who is looking pretty promising to his potential first professional win. And for these final 3 frames of the first half, I'll send it back to Jesse Cook on the other side of this break. You're listening to Regulators Baseball on the Coast Media Network and Home Team Network.
Top of the 7th inning on the way on this Sunday matinee with the Regulators leading 6-0 and trotting back up to the plate here in Modesto. Long Beach sending Patrick Roche, Cooper Vest, and Matthew Bardwell 2, 3, and 4 to the dish. Righty, lefty, righty against the new right-hander Lucas Alanis, who replaces Omar Serrano after 6 innings in which he allowed all 6 runs on 8 hits. First pitch runs high and inside to Roche. And anything for chin music must give him flashbacks to Thursday night when the Yuba Sutter Freebirds hit him 3 times. Long Beach still won that game, so Roche got the last laugh. 1-0. The Boston College product watches a curveball at the knees for a strike. Alanis settles in here with a .338 earned run average, best in the Modesto bullpen. 1-1, swung on and popped foul to the right side. The best ERA among starters belonged to Omar Serrano at .308 at the beginning of this game, but Long Beach tagged him with runs in 4 of the 6 innings he tossed.
In his last appearance against the Long Beach Coast, he gave up only 2 runs, and that was also in a loss back at Blair Field.
1-2, curveball misses low and away.
That was on the 13th of June.
2-2 count. The last time Alanis pitched against Long Beach was June 26th. He runs high and inside and hits Roche there, and the ricochet came back and knocked down catcher Harry Owen, who already struggled with a foul ball off the mask earlier in this game. Modesto's trainer runs out to come chat with him, as does manager JT Snow. The leadoff man is aboard for Long Beach during this pause. Patrick Roche making his way aboard on, I believe, his 4th time being hit with a pitch this week.
Yes.
After 3 on Thursday against Modesto. Actually, the 5th time he's been hit with a pitch this week because he had been hit earlier in the Modesto series as well once.
Yes, and in the past 3 games, that is his 3rd free base as well.
And that's it for Harry Owen. He's been a trooper this series, catching all 3 games, and we just wish him the best. We hope he's all right as he walks back off to the dugout. I believe Hayden Dunhurst is the most likely next option at catcher. There are a few players with catching experience on this Modesto roster. Jacob Lejewski, the shortstop, is the other one among those 3. But Dunhurst is the only one out of the lineup today.
They're also shuffling some things up in the infield with Osiris Johnson coming out to second.
So that might mean that Lejewski is strapping on the gear. So Cyrus Johnson replacing Harry Owen in the lineup.
I think I saw Handren go to shortstop. Going to confirm here through the trusty binos.
Johnson will be due up first in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Yeah, that's Handren at short.
And that looks to be Lejewski at third. Handren at short. Osiris Johnson at second. Cannon is still at first.
Logan Sutter was at second base. Someone is strapping on catcher's gear. It does take a minute, and whoever it is, they're hidden from us.
Oh, it is Sutter at third base. My mistake. So Lejewski is the only one I don't see in the infield right now.
Which would lend to the idea that he could be heading over to play catcher.
And there comes the new backstop. Yes, it is Lejewski.
Moving to shortstop, number 36, Max Handren. From shortstop to catcher, number 1.
Lejewski replacing Harry Owen behind the dish, trading in Owen's bright red gear for the dominant blue of Lejewski's, and he needs a few warm-up pitches. Patrick Roche, the runner on first. He was hit with the pitch. Leading off this top of the 7th inning, 6-0 Long Beach, your score underneath these overcast Sunday matinee skies. Still the right-hander Lucas Alanis out there. Last time he pitched against Long Beach on June 26th, the LBC ended up winning 4-1. That was here in Modesto. Dealt 2 innings, allowed 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, but no runs. He did pitch at Long Beach on June 10th, another LBC win. He allowed 2 runs, 1 earned on 1 hit across 3 1/3. Now he pitches to the lefty Cooper Vest out of the stretch. First pitch fastball high and away, and the brand new catcher, the shortstop turned backstop Jacob Lejewski, grips that one high and away for ball 1. Vest 1 for 3 in this game. Singled in the 3rd. Next pitch. A heater that just misses downstairs for a 2-0 count. Alanis from the stretch. Vest swings and tails that one to the left side and through the 5-6 gap for another knock. Back-to-back 2-hit days for the St. George, Utah native. And then runners on first and second to begin the top of the 7th inning for the Regulators, leading 6-0.
And what a good way to pick himself up. Cooper Vest, who was struggling heading into the weekend. No hits in 7 at-bats, and since then he's had 4 hits over the past 2 games.
It's up to Matthew Bardowell now on the right side. The pitch, he swings and fouls that one off of Lejewski's chest protector. He immediately asks for a foul ball. This has been an unlucky series for catchers. Johnny Pappas for Long Beach yesterday, he stayed in the game, thankfully, and told us he was all right. He took a foul ball to the mask that knocked him down on his seat. It was the second time he'd taken a rough foul ball off the helmet in this series. Harry Owen has done it a couple times as well as he's out of the game. This pitch misses to Bardowell, high and away.
The only one that's been unblemished is David Whittle, knock on wood. You know.
1-1 count. The pitch. Bardwell swings, taps that to second. Osiris Johnson fields at the ankles and sidearms to first for the first out of this inning. Roche moves up to third, Vest to second. Peeking out beyond center field, there is some tan and green Humvees rolling along the road. So there is an impromptu armed forces procession beyond the center field wall here in Modesto, on par for a desert town. I remember last year in Colorado Springs, not too far from the Air Force Academy, Rocky Mountain Vibes occasionally had unplanned flyovers by C-130s doing their practice runs. First pitch to Cuba Best, the lefty, misses low and away for ball one.
As do I recall with the Gateway Grizzlies in the Frontier League right by the regional airport. Plenty of flyovers.
1-0, fouled off to the left side and out of play.
Hit that foul ball. Take it to Play Sports on McNair Avenue for $10 off your next purchase.
Alanis shakes off a couple signals, now brings the gray glove to his eyes and whirls home. Vest swings, and he knocks that one straight up the middle. Roche scores from third, Vest burning behind him from second, and it's a 2-run single for Cuba Best. 8-0 Regulators here on Sunday. One away, top of the seventh inning.
Running to the plate, number 27, Jacob Jablonski.
That brings up Jacob Jablonski after Best hammers in his second and third RBIs of the afternoon. Jablonski 0 for 1, but he's walked twice. First pitch, he swings, knocks that one on the ground to second. Johnson gloves it on a run, throws to first on the spin, and he tosses it away to the backstop. Best moving over for third. Jablonski holds at first. Men on the corners after the error by Johnson.
He just got too comfortable there. He already made an impressive grab, did the right thing, spun the way of his glove side, but dropped it on the throw, the easy throw there. He had plenty of time, too, to kind of lock eyes with the first baseman, Kennan. So that's just a mental mistake right there.
And he did just sub into the game, so maybe he isn't quite warmed up at second base. First pitch to the righty, Emilio Corona. He swings and foul tips it through the wickets for strike one. Corona has reached in all three plate appearances, all three by way of an RBI knock. 2 of them doubles.
He's going to need some pine tar spray, or just pine tar.
Reapplies to the neck of the bat. The highest number of hits in a ball game for a member of the LBC roster belongs to Matthew Bardwell when he put together 5 in Oakland back on June 17th. Corona, however, has reached 4 before in the hit column. Alanis comes set, whirls home, misses low and outside. Emilio Corona does have a 4-hit game under his belt this season. So he's trying for his second here. Next pitch, he swings and misses.
Corona was also the most recent 4-hit game on the 2nd of July back at Blair Field against the Ballers, who they will face off next week to kick off a 12-game homestand.
He went 4 for 5 in that game. Next pitch, a curveball that drops in for strike 3. Corona immediately challenges, and he'll be staying at home plate. We checked the TrackMan system. That pitch misses high and away. Long Beach 4 for 4 now on challenges in this game. And reflecting again on that July 2nd game in Oakland, against Oakland, Corona 4 for 5, 3 RBIs, all 3 of them by way of a home run. He also doubled twice in that contest. He also stole a base. Tough man to stop. 2-2. Swing and a miss. That time he's stopped, chasing low and outside. He's still 3 for 4. Bang-up game for him. Emilio Corona, this point in the season, that is his 5th game with at least 3 hits. He might have an opportunity for another, as he should come up in the 9th inning. Dylan Lena takes a turn here. 0 for 3 in this game. Lena 0 for his last 13 in this series. First pitch, he swings and punches that on the ground foul. Lena's last hit came 19 at-bats ago. He's 0 for his last 18 against Yuba Sutter on Tuesday. Next pitch misses low and outside. 1-1 count. One pitch. He cuts and fouls it over the backstop. Correction, his last hit came on the first pitch he saw in this series on Friday, a single to left field. So 0 for his last 13. 2 hits on the week. 1-2. Misses low and outside. 2-2 count. A calm Sunday in the air. No wind here in Modesto. Gray skies up above, but the coast invigorated with an 8-0 lead. 2-2. Swiped on and missed. That ends the top of the 7th. We move on to stretch time. Modesto coming up to the plate, trying to climb an 8-run mountain when we return with Regulators Baseball on the Home Team Network. After stretch time here on Sunday in the last game of the first half, the Regulators head out to the field leading 8-0 on the road in Modesto. The Roadsters at the plate. Osiris Johnson leading off, taking his first hacks of the ball game. First pitch from the righty Ryan Fox, a fastball for a strike inside at the belt. Johnson subbing in for the injured Harry Owen in the last half inning. Fox kicks high. Johnson squares the bunt, but tries to pull back. The ball still hitting his bat and bouncing to the backstop. 0-2 count for the 2018 second-round pick of the Miami Marlins. Johnson leading Modesto's roster in batting average at .384 and in home runs with 11. 0-2 pitch. Heater downstairs. 1-2 count. Johnson subbed in for the catcher. Owen left the game. Johnson went to second. There was some other reshuffling. Jacob Lajewski coming in to play catcher from short. 1-2 pitch downstairs. 2-2 count. The then second baseman, Logan Sutter, crossed over to third. Max Andren, the third baseman, moved off to short. Time called at home plate by Blake Dempsey, the home plate umpire. Catcher David Whittle readjusts his gear for Long Beach. The Roadsters have allowed the Regulators to score in 5 of the 7 innings so far. The 2-2 bounced off foul to the left side. Long Beach jumping on the board on a leadoff home run from Eddie Pelk in the first. An Emilio Corona double in the second. He would appear in that 3-run third inning that really made the difference. 2-2 pitch, swinging a corkscrew back our way in the press box. That landed a decent 20 rows in front of us. Still a 2-2 count for Johnson. Long Beach tacking on 3 runs in the last 2 innings. Another Corona double and a 2-run Cuba Best single in the top of the 7th. 2-2. Johnson swings. He tears this one to deep left center field. That's a gapper. Rolling all the way towards the wall. It bounces off the foot of the fence. Johnson burning around first. Holds up at second as Eddie Pelk picks that one up in left center. Lead-off double for Osiris Johnson. Out of the starting lineup, but into the hit column.
And with that pitch that he fouled back, to keep it at a 2-2 count was the same pitch that was offered to him just a little bit more towards the middle of the plate that Fox hung up. 2 straight changeups, including one that had some cutting movement inside on the righty that tied him up, but that one he just left over the plate.
Perhaps waiting for that perfect pitch from Fox there. Well, now the right-hander resettles. He's got an 8-run cushion, pitching to the righty, Logan Sutter. Fox from the stretch. Hefty swing and miss. Foul tipped into the mitt, correction. Fox sets again. Black glove perched under his front arm. Now he takes a breath. Kicks high. Swing and a miss. 0-2 count for 0 for 2 Logan Sutter. The 24-year-old mustachioed right-hander leans in for the new signal from catcher David Whittle. Fox, a second-year pioneer leaguer, whirls home. That's bounced out to short, fielded on a hop by Patrick Roche, who lobs onto first for the first out of this 7th inning. 8-0 Long Beach in the bottom of the 7th. Runner on second. And the top of the order due up in left-handed hitting Max Handren. He's 0 for 3, twice grounding out to first, last time up flying out to center field. The second of those 2 ground outs to first was a highlight reel play. Cooper Vest diving down the line behind first base onto the early right field grass, popping up and racing to first. Fox glances at second, turns home and misses inside and low. Ball skips away from Whittle. He throws to third. Johnson chasing for the bag, and the throw bounces offline. Lena diving with it to keep it in front of him.
What a fantastic stop by Dylan Lena to prevent that from getting into left field on that wild pitch.
Fox now with first and second empty and a runner on third. He fires and the fastball hits for a strike, low and away. 0-1 count. Correction, 1-1 count. From the stretch, swinging a high drive right center field, chasing it Bardowell. That's beyond him to the fence. Johnson jogs on home. Handren cruising into second base. The shutout is over for the Long Beach pitching staff. 2 extra base hits in this bottom of the 7th inning, but still an 8-1 advantage. Fox allowing his first earned run after 3 outings without. The last one came a week ago Friday, in Yuba Sutter.
And to his credit, a lot of pitchers gave up runs in that game last Friday. That was the most amount of runs that they've given up, 17 to the Freebirds to open up that holiday weekend series in Yuba.
Now he pitches to the right-handed hitting Tyler Williams. Fox stares at second, flips on home. Breaking ball lands for a strike, low and away. Fox works with a 3-pitch arsenal, a fastball, changeup, and slider. The Rancho Santa Margarita native nods and deals. This one fouled over the back netting. 0-2 count for Williams.
And I like what he's doing with that one-strike approach. He did it to Johnson. That slight movement on that changeup inside on righties, getting them to foul it off.
Here he goes again, the 0-2 high and inside to this right-hander, but it misses as Williams leans out of the way. Tried to jam him there. Fox nods. Comes set, looks at second. Again turns home and bounces this one in the dirt. It rolls away to the backstop and into the Long Beach dugout. Handren held at third. That ball running out of play there on the wild pitch. There was a thought for a moment that the ball going into the dugout mount might bring him home, but I guess he had not made it halfway to third by the time it exited the field. 2-2. Swung on and popped to the right side and out of play. Long Beach looking forward to a 6-hour bus ride after this game back to the LBC down south, but also a day off tomorrow before 12 straight home games. 2-2. He swings, nubs this one to shallow center field. Corona coming in. That falls in front of him. Handren scores from third. That's back-to-back knocks for Modesto, making it an 8-2 Long Beach lead in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here comes manager Troy Percival chatting with Fox. There is action in the Long Beach bullpen. He has not yet requested the baseball from his right-hander. But here comes a lefty, Jake Dixon, racing out there to pitch. So we'll pause while the southpaw warms up. 6-run lead for Long Beach, but Modesto closing in on the home team network. New pitcher in the ballgame for Long Beach with an 8-2 lead in the bottom of the 7th inning with one away and a runner on first. Left-hander Jake Dixon replaces Ryan Fox after he deals out of the bullpen. First pitch to the righty, Justin Boyd. He bounces it to second. Jacob Jablonski charging. Flips to the Keystone bag for one. No throw to first. Dixon fires off one pitch and earns an out.
Key to efficiency. It's kind of like when Fox came in, needed only 2 pitches to leave the bases stranded just last inning.
Now a lefty-lefty affair with Bryce Cannon. He's 1 for 2, reaching on a single last time up. First pitch, he swings, bounces that right side and through the gap into right field. Boyd stumbled between first and second, so he stays put, moving up just to the Keystone base, but maybe he could have made it further running with the pitch had he not tripped trying to wind his way out of the ball's path. Jacob Lejewski has yet to be retired today with a pair of walks and a single, but he also hasn't made it further than second base. Stranded at first in the second, stranded at first in the fourth, stranded at second in the sixth. 8-2 Long Beach with 2 away in the bottom of the 7th and 2 men on. Dixon deals. Misses up high on his sinker. Walks in with a .547 earned run average. Tan glove at the letters. He kicks high. Misses inside and low on the slider. Dixon from Clovis, California. 6'4", 210 pounds. He leans home. Earns a called strike, low and inside on the slider. Looking for his third consecutive outing without an earned run allowed. Last time he did so was a week ago yesterday in Yuba Sutter. 2-1. Swing and a line shot, straightaway center field, right at Emilio Corona, who makes the catch. Modesto nabs a pair of runs on 4 hits in the bottom of the 7th inning, but the Coast, rebranding as the Regulators today, still lead by 6. Moving on to the top of the 8th inning. Don't go anywhere. We'll have more Regulators baseball on the Home Team Network. Top of the 8th inning coming at you from Modesto with an 8-2 Long Beach lead, and the Regulators heading up to bat. David Whittle followed by the top of the order, Eddie Pelk and Patrick Roche. And I hear Tremaine coming. It's rolling around the bend. The Folsom, California native, Cole Tremaine, entering the game to pitch for the Roadsters. Little Johnny Cash for you there. Righty affair. First pitch misses high and inside to Whittle, who is 0 for 3 on the ball game so far. He waves a 2-piece tan-barreled, black-necked bat at the back of the righty box in an open stance. Tremaine kicks up high. Fastball by the hands. 2-0 count. Tremaine walks in with a .675 earned run average on the season. Glove at the belt. Infield, perched back, straight up. Next pitch by the shoulders. 3-0 count. This is the 17th appearance and 17th out of the pen for Tremaine this season. Dealt 16 innings in total. He takes a heavy breath and turns home. Fastball high and inside, called ball 4. There was a little indecision behind the plate for catcher Jacob Lejewski, but he has no ability to appeal this call as Modesto is out of challenges on the game, burning both of them earlier on by the end of the 6th inning. So that brings up the top of the order in Eddie Pelk, who led off this ball game, setting the tone with a home run to right field. He's 1 for 3 with that dinger, his 7th of the year. Tremaine from the stretch knocks down the curveball for a strike. 0-1 count. We've enjoyed some hot weather here in Modesto, but today, very cool, just 85 at the moment with overcast skies. 0-1, swung on, flared the opposite way into shallow left field for a hit. Second of the game for Pelk. That moves Whittle up to second with nobody out in the top of the 8th inning. 8-2 Long Beach.
And Pelk has such a great opposite field swing, knowing to take the ball where it is pitched. That one clipping just low and a little outside to get it into shallow left field. We've seen a lot of opposite field home runs from Eddie Pelk of his initial few.
And he's seen Tremaine before. He last pitched against Long Beach on June 27th. Patrick Roche at the plate. First pitch to the right. He runs high and inside and almost hits him. He has been a baseball magnet this week. 5 times he's been hit with the pitch. Once already today. 3 on Thursday night in the rubber match of the Yuba Sutter series. A 13-4 Regulators win. Starting off the 3-game winning streak that they have enjoyed. Trying to extend to 4 on the last day of the first half. Next pitch, a curveball that misses high and inside to Roche here.
I'm sure Cooper Vest is thrilled that it's not him this week.
Vest leading the Pioneer League and times being hit by the pitch at 18.
He's coming right up on him, though. 12 now on the season.
2-0. Roche checks his swing at the fastball up high. And home plate umpire Blake Dempsey signals that that is ball 3. Tremaine dealing some smoke up there, up near 90 miles per hour. Earlier this series, on Friday, we tried some of the smoked brisket fries here at Modern Woodman Field, and it takes a while for those to come to fruition. 3-0, sawed off to the right side and out of play.
The pulled pork here that we had here?
That's right. And correction, the check swing from Roche, there was no signal from home plate from home, and that was later revealed to be a strike. So now it is a 2-2 count after the foul ball. But the pulled pork fries here, while the Roadsters are on the road, that's when the pulled pork is actually formed. 2-2, knocked to the opposite way, right at right fielder Justin Boyd, who gloves it for out number 1. Still runners on first and second for the Regulators in the top of the 8th inning, ahead by 6. Cooper Vest making his way to the plate with back-to-back 2-hit ball games, thanks to his single last time up in the 7th. But the Roadsters cook their pulled pork and all of their brisket in a slow cooker while the team is on the road. And so it's readily available usually for series like this, where they started out on the road, say in Oakland, like this week, but come back home for the weekend. Next pitch, the first one to Vest, a curveball for a strike at the knees. And I got to tell you, that was fantastic, the pulled pork fries. The meat just fell apart right when you stuck a fork in. 0-1, high leg kick. Low bounces. That one falls inside the chalk of the lefty box for ball 1 to Vest.
Complemented by that barbecue sauce as well. I'm not sure what barbecue sauce they use, but it's got that right tang to it. A little bit of acidity with that vinegar, but the sweetness that you want out of a molasses-based barbecue sauce.
And to follow that up, they sell a ton of sweets here as well. Vest fouls off the next pitch over the backstop, 1-2 count. Every concessions option on the first base side is sweet. Everything on the third base side is savory here in Modesto. And I've had the fried Oreos pitched to me, but maybe that's something we'll have to circle back for the next time that the Long Beach team heads out here. 1-2. Swung on and fouled to the third base side. The LBC will return to Modesto. The next time here, though, it'll be a while. 8/25, August 25th through 27th marks the final road series for the Regulators against the Roadsters before wrapping up the season back in Long Beach against each other. Again, the 1-2. Vest swings and ropes it to right field. Boyd jumps and makes the catch. Caught off of second base is Whittle. He slides back in, and he's just safe. Boyd's throw back to the infield ran a little bit to the first base side, and Whittle wipes his brow after narrowly avoiding being caught sleeping.
And good on Ricardo Rodriguez, the crew chief, to make that bang-bang call. That was really as close as it could get. And yes, Whittle standing atop the Keystone bag with his hands on his hips.
Matthew Bardwell leans in on the right side now with 2 outs. 2 on. First pitch, a curveball for a strike, low and away. Bardwell's 9th inning home run last night ended up winning the game, made it 5-3. Long Beach walked away victors 8-3 after that 5-run rally in the 9th. 0-1, high and inside, it misses, 1-1 count. If Long Beach wins this game, the last contest of the first half, they secure home field advantage, at least in the first round of the playoffs, by clinching first place in the first half. A half game at the moment ahead of the Billings Mustangs. 1-1 pitch. Curveball misses low and away. 2-0 count. Should the Regulators let this one slip by some turn of fate, the Mustangs have a pretty good advantage already in the top of the first inning in Idaho Falls, leading 7-0. 2-1 the count. Out of the stretch, he swings, drives it high to straightaway center field. Williams tracking back, but he makes the catch with plenty of room in front of the wall. Long Beach threatens putting its two first batters aboard, but stranding them where they lie. We move on to the bottom of the 8th inning, still 8-2 Regulators, 6, 7, and 8 due up for Modesto when we return with Regulators Baseball on the Home Team Network. Bottom of the 8th inning on the way in Modesto with Kingston Liniak leading off for the hometown Roadsters. Jake Dixon still out there for the Long Beach Regulators, trying to protect an 8-2 lead on the last day of the first half of the 2026 Pioneer League season. Lefty versus a righty. Liniak, the 6-hitter. Dixon kicks up high. Fires the slider low and inside for ball 1. Liniak 0 for 2, walked his last time up. He's succeeded by 0 for 3 Dom Rodriguez, and then Osiris Johnson, who's only taken 1 at bat, and he doubled in the 7th inning. 1-0 from the stretch. Swinger dribbler, third base side and foul. Liniak, a 4th-round pick of the Tigers in 2018, also comes from a rather historic Major League family with both his dad and his uncle playing pro ball. His dad spending some time with the Red Sox organization. 1-1 count. Dixon hand glove at the letters, fires, sails the slider high and outside for a 2-1 count now.
And in his 12 at-bats, or rather 12 plate appearances of this series, he's only reached safely twice, including that walk today, but only 1 hit on the series.
The left-hander toes the rubber with his gold cleats, now fires again, missing low and inside. That sinker winding down at 86 miles per hour. Moves the count to 3-1. From the stretch. Misses high and outside, so Liniak boards with a walk for the 2nd straight plate appearance. And he leads off the bottom of the 8th inning as such. There is action in the Long Beach bullpen, a right-hander loosening up. It's hard to tell who is out there at the moment. Our vision down the left field line is blocked by an awning, so we can't see the on-field left field bullpen. Dom Rodriguez on the right side. First pitch. Misses up high. 1-0 count.
I see a right-hander.
Dixon stares at first. Short two-step lead for Liniak there. High leg kick. Sinker bounces inside. 2-0 count. Rodriguez grounded out to first base last time up. That ended the sixth inning and stranded the bases loaded for Modesto in what at that point was their best opportunity. Here comes manager Troy Percival to chat with Dixon.
Oh, that's chilly.
Steven Ordorica warming up down the left field line. If you tuned into our beach ball pregame report, you caught that his nickname is Chili, and you also learned how to throw submarine style. And here he comes. So Troy Percival stalled for a moment to give his submariner time to work out the inner workings of the naval vessel, and we'll be back in just a moment with the right-hander replacing Dixon with nobody out, a 2-0 count, a runner on in the bottom of the eighth inning, protecting a 6-run lead on the home team network. Dipping downstairs for the new pitcher in the ball game for the Regulators with an 8-2 lead. Submarine right-hander Steven Ordorica enters the ball game with a runner on first, nobody out in the bottom of the eighth inning, protecting that 6-run advantage. 2-0 count for Dom Rodriguez. Ordorica fires and lands the sinker for a strike at the belt. 2-1. Ordorica replacing the left-hander Jake Dixon, who rides a release point not all that much higher than Ordorica's, who drops down to maybe a minus 45-degree angle. His next pitch misses high and outside. Dixon is right at that 50% sidearm velocity there. Ordorica, the fourth pitcher of the game for the LBC, third out of the bullpen. Throws over to first, diving back in safely is Kingston Liniak. He led off this frame with a walk. We were talking about the pulled pork fries in the top half of this inning. Well, the smell of the hamburgers and bratwurst has wafted its way up to the press box, and it's making me hungry. Next pitch foul to the backstop. Long Beach hungry for first place with an opportunity to clinch. Modesto has made none of these games easy, tying up Friday night's Long Beach win in the ninth inning. The Regulators would go on to win in the knockout round. Last night it was a 3-1 lead up until the eighth inning. Long Beach then came back to win. Next pitch, swing and a miss. Dom Rodriguez retired by way of the K. Ordorica enters that plate appearance with a 2-0 count and battles back to win it. This is Chili's second appearance of this series. Puerto Rico nicknamed Chili. I believe that is because of his chilled out attitude. Threw just 3 pitches on Friday. He throws over to first, and that's wide of Cooper Vest, but off of Kingston Liniak as he dove back in. Puerto Rico is searching for back-to-back scoreless appearances. Although he only threw 2 pitches and dealt to 1 batter on Friday, it's still on Saturday. Next pitch misses low and inside. He still ended up with 2/3 of an inning dealt because he picked off the pinch runner, Michael Mugen.
That was also a big momentum shift last night that led to that eventual comeback.
1-0. Falls in for a strike at the knees.
Came in, limited the damage that was started by a 1-out single from the starter Nathan Hemmerling, and then things started to shift in those final couple frames.
He sets again and deals. This one swung on and popped over the backstop. That foul ball clangs down just to the right of our spot here in the press box. Puerto Rico enters this ball game with a .593 earned run average, this being his 27th appearance. Boasts a 2-2 record. Time called at home plate by the batter, Osiris Johnson. He entered this game as defensive relief for catcher Harry Owen, who left with an injury. Johnson replaced him in the lineup, moving out to second base with some other reshuffling. He doubled his first time up last inning, leading off the 7th. This pitch from Puerto Rico misses downstairs and away. It's a 3-1 count after the slider sails aside. Correction, 2-2 count. The pitch. He swings and batters that one into shallow left field. Chasing after it, Eddie Pelk. He picks that one up on the ground, and there are 2 men aboard for Modesto, down by 6 with an out away in the bottom of the 8th inning.
And that was a real wiffle ball swing, reaching high and outside and just getting it off the end of his bat. Good single for Johnson, who's now 2 for 2.
Logan Sutter digs in now on the right side, and he needs a pick-me-up. He's 0 for 3 in this ball game. Sutter pinch hit on Friday night and struck out. That was in the 9th inning for the second out. Puerto Rico's first pitch misses low and inside. Of course, after Sutter struck out on Friday night, a string of 4 straight base runners followed, 3 of them hits, tying up that ball game and forcing the knockout round, which Cuba Best won for Long Beach. 1-0. He swings, tags that one to third, picked by Dylan Lena. He throws to second for 1. It pulls the second baseman Jablonski off the bag. He still tries to throw to first, but it's late. So there are men on the corners with 2 away for Modesto in the bottom of the 8th inning. 8-2 Long Beach. Top of the order due up now for the Roadsters and Max Handren, who picked up his first hit of the ball game last time up, an RBI double to left field, to right field. Righty pitching to a lefty. Puerto Rico settles. Black glove at the belt buckle. Throws over to first. Diving back in. Logan Sutter. And he is tagged out by Cooper Vest. Steven Ordorica has appeared in 2 games this weekend, and twice he has picked off a base runner. We move on to the 9th inning. 8-2 Long Beach, your score, with 5, 6, and 7 due up in Cuba Best, Jacob Jablonski, and Emilio Corona, with Regulators Baseball returning on the Home Team Network. Last inning of the first half of the Pioneer League season. Getting started here, top of the ninth. Long Beach leads Modesto 8-2, and the Regulators are up at the plate. Cuba Best leading off on the left side against the right-hander Dawson Goins. The rookie's first pitch lands for a strike high and away on the 81-mile-per-hour curveball. Goins made his professional debut back on Friday night with a perfect seventh inning. He settles in out of the stretch. Best swings and misses, chasing the curveball low and away. 0-2 count. Best 1 for 3 in this ball game with 3 RBIs, 2 of them coming home last time up in the 7th inning. Goins kicks high, bounces the breaking ball for a 1-2 count. The 6'4" right-hander takes a heavy breath on the mound. Out of D2 Henderson State University in his home state of Arkansas. His 1-2. Bounced out towards second. Osiris Johnson down on a knee, gets to it and throws to first sidearm for out number 1. Long Beach, like we've talked about it, and we will talk about it more, will clinch first place in the first half standings with a win in this ball game. While if the Billings Mustangs win today, they will be a half game behind Long Beach in the overall standings at the end of the first half. The game unplayed against Missoula. There is still no chance that they would catch the tiebreaker against these Regulators. First pitch to Jacob Jablonski, the switch hitter batting on the left side, watches a fastball high and outside for ball 1. The first tiebreaker is head-to-head matchups. Billings and Long Beach do not face each other this season, so that's irrelevant. Then you default to runs allowed per game. 1-0. Curveball misses high and outside. It's a 2-0 count. Long Beach has the advantage there, allowing just 6.5 per contest. Billings, even if they pitch a shutout today and in a hypothetical extra game played to replace the rainout with Missoula, they would only be at 7.5. Next pitch misses high and outside. 3-0 count for Jablonski. So Long Beach, if the defense records the final 3 outs without allowing Modesto to tie or take the lead, well, that'll be home field advantage in the playoffs secured. 3-0, a fastball low and away for a strike. 3-1 count. Of course, that only guarantees home field advantage in the first round should Long Beach advance to the championship. Well, that's what the second half is for. 3-1. Swinging a dribbler, first base side. Johnson slides to it, but it pops over his glove for a hit into right field. Jacob Jablonski's first hit of the ball game is his 3rd time reaching base after walking in the 2nd and the 6th. 1 away, 1 on, 8-2 Regulators in the top of the 9th inning on this getaway day. Now it's up to Amelia Corona, who for the 5th time this season has marked 3 or more hits, 2 doubles and a single, all 3 of those knocks bringing home an RBI. He struck out last time up, though, in the 7th inning. Going from the stretch, Corona swings and fouls off to the right side, out of play. 0-1 count. Long Beach and Modesto will play each other 9 more times this season. August 25th through 27th, back here in the Central Valley, and then wrapping up the regular season with 6 games back at Blair Field in Long Beach in September. 0-1. He swings and flares a pop-up behind first base. Bryce Cannon underneath, and foul ground makes the catch. 2 away in the top of the 9th inning. Runner on first for the Regulators, ahead 8-2. Dylan Lena taking a turn here. 0 for his last 14. He's come close to hits in this ballgame. Flied out to deep center on a play where Tyler Williams dropped the ball, but on the transfer, and last time up he sent a screamer into right field, but Justin Boyd rushed to it. Righty-righty affair. Next up for Long Beach is a 12-game homestand kicking off on Tuesday against Oakland. Runner goes for second. First pitch, he swings and charges it deep to left field. Hanging up for Kingston Liniak, though, in front of the fence. He makes the catch. So Long Beach's offense rides the influence it pushed in the first 3 innings and in the 6th and the 7th for an 8-2 lead. It's up to the bullpen now to shut down Modesto and clinch first place when we return on the Home Team Network. 3 outs separate the Long Beach Regulators from clinching first place at the end of the first half standings and securing home field advantage for the first round of the playoffs. 8-2 your score entering the bottom of the ninth inning. Steven Orderica back on the bump for his second inning of relief. The Submarine right-hander facing the top of the Modesto order, Max Handren, Tyler Williams, and Justin Boyd. First pitch from righty to lefty, sails high and outside for ball one. Jesse Cook with you on the mic, Joey Miller to my right. Wrapping up this weekend series in the Central Valley and ending the first half. 1-0. Sinker dips in for a strike. Low and away. Modesto's leadoff man, Handren, shook his head at that call, but the Roadsters burned both of their challenges before the sixth inning had wrapped up. 1-1 pitch. He swings and misses underneath the slider, high and inside. 1-2 count. Statues in the left field bullpen, nobody warming up. It appears that manager Troy Percival is trusting the end of this ball game with Steven Orderica. The La Puente, California native has a chance for the 2-inning save. A 6-run lead, but needing to record 6 outs, he qualifies. His 1-2. Zips up high for a 2-2 count. Handren 1 for 4 in this ball game, recorded a hit his last time at the plate with an RBI double to right field. Next pitch, he swings and fends it off foul to the backstop. 2-2 count. Modesto has made things difficult for Long Beach in this series. Friday night, the Regulators entered the ninth inning with a 2-run lead, but down to the last strike on 2 occasions, Modesto battled back, tying the game, forcing a knockout round. 2-2 pitch. Outside and low, full count. And for those who missed it, the knockout round is what replaced extra innings in the Pioneer League, a home run derby if the game is tied after 9. Cuba Best won that for Long Beach. Modesto yesterday led through the 7th inning, 3-0. Next pitch fouled over the back netting. Handren definitely making it difficult, keeping himself alive here. Orderica takes a moment behind the bump to tie his shoelaces. Now the bespectacled right-hander resets on the third base side of the rubber. Dips down and deals. This one swung on and crushed to deep center field, tracking back Emilio Corona, and he makes the catch a good 10 steps in front of the wall. One away in the bottom of the ninth inning, 8-2 Long Beach. Tyler Williams taking a turn now. Like Handren, recorded his first hit last time up, a single to center field. He's 1 for 3 after walking in the first inning. Righty-righty battle. Williams joined Modesto after the first series between the Regulators and the Roadsters. First pitch, drops in for a strike at the knees, 0-1 count. Long Beach has worn its alternate Regulators jerseys this entire weekend. The black sweaters. This one turned home and bounced out to second. Jablonski on a knee has it, shuffles to first, and there are 2 away in the bottom of the ninth inning. Normally the Long Beach coast, but the team elected to wear the alternates this weekend, so rebranding as the alternate identity Regulators, and they can regulate the Pioneer League in first place with 1 more out. Justin Boyd is 0 for 4. He sets up on the right side, waving a 2-piece red-barreled and tan-necked bat with blue tape on the handle. First pitch, sinker for a strike at the belt. Orderica taught us how to pitch Submarine. You can catch that piece on the Long Beach Coast YouTube tomorrow. Next pitch sails up high, 1-1 count. If you tuned into the Beach Ball pregame report, you caught a good glimpse at that process. Long Beach will be home for the next 12 games to open up the second half, starting on Tuesday night. 6:35 first pitch against Oakland. 1-1, check swing, fouled to the backstop. It's a 1-2 count. Long Beach is 1 strike away from clinching first place in the first half standings. The team that Long Beach faces on Tuesday, the Oakland Ballers, last year set a record for wins in the first half with a 37-win mark, 11 losses, 1 more strike, and Long Beach will equal that record-setting mark in its inaugural season. Orderica dips down, deals, slider misses low and away. 2-2 count. 2 away, bases empty, bottom of the 9th inning. 8-2, the LBC leads Modesto here at Modern Woodman Field in the Central Valley. 2-2 pitch. He swings and pops it up. Shallow center field. Emilio Corona chasing in, losing his hat, and finding the baseball. First place belongs to Long Beach. 8-2 your final on this Sunday getaway day matinee. The Regulators push their way into their 4th consecutive victory, securing first place in the first half standings, clinching home field advantage in the first round of the McCurdy Cup playoffs. Steven Ordorica deals 2 innings out of relief for the save. We'll break down more about this milestone victory for Long Beach in our Beach Ball post-game report. Make sure you stay tuned for that. But more on Ordorica. That save for him marks his first of the season. We'll break down more of his last couple innings and the early offense that spurred this victory with 5 runs over the first 3 innings when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We're wrapping up with Regulators Baseball on the Home Team Network. Wrapping things up here in Modesto, the Regulators win 8-2, and Long Beach clinches first place at the end of the first half standings on the final day of the first 48 of the inaugural season. 8-2 your finish. Matthew O'Brien records his first professional win. 5 2/3 shutout innings pitched. He allows 2 hits, strikes out 6 batters, surrendering 4 walks. O'Brien definitely shut down the Roadsters, but he was buoyed by some solid offense with 5 runs coming home across the first 3 innings. Eddie Pelk set the tone with a pull side home run to lead off the ball game. The left-handed bat hitting that one to right field, his 7th of the year, 5th on the road. Second inning, Emilio Corona marked the first of his 3 RBIs on a double. That went to center field. He recorded an RBI single in the third inning to wrap that one up after Matthew Bardowell RBI knock and Cuba Bess's sacrifice fly to right field. The next run would come about thanks to Corona, an RBI double in the sixth inning, scoring Jacob Jablonski, and 2 more runs came home in the 7th on a Cuba Bess 2-run single. He also finishes with 3 RBIs. Out of the bullpen, Ryan Fox exits the pen first and gives up a pair of runs on 3 hits. Jake Dixon behind him. 1 hit over 2/3 of an inning, 1 walk, and Steven Ordorica back ends the last 2 innings. Shutout, 1 hit allowed, 1 strikeout. So Long Beach heads home today, takes a rest tomorrow before hosting for 12 games. 6 against the Oakland Ballers, 3 this week, 3 followed by the Yuba Sutter Freebirds. Then the Ballers are back for the end of that 6 total that we mentioned, and then the Red Pocket Mobiles. And Joey, there's a lot of positives to take into this second half of the season now, with 4 straight wins ending the first half.
Yes, indeed. And I should mention, for the Regulators, that is the 10th Regulators victory in the inaugural season of the alternate identity and the inaugural season, of course, of the non-alternate identity Long Beach Coast. 48 games are through and tying up that record that the Oakland Ballers set, perhaps signs of what's to come in the second half. The Oakland Ballers ended up with 73 wins last year and won the McCurdy Cup. And for O'Brien on the mound today, absolutely dominant. A phenomenal pick-me-up performance from his last start, where he gave up 6 runs in his first ever professional start. Now his second professional start, a little better. Kids are rounding the bases right now. We just saw one eat the dirt. Back to the topic at hand. O'Brien, in his first 5 innings of work, he only gave up 1 hit. In 19 batters faced, he only allowed 4 on base. The only thing he really struggled with was the base on balls, which he gave up 4. And still struck out more than that. 6 for a career high for the young southpaw out of UC Riverside. Really fantastic, and I'm sure Troy Percival is thrilled to see that he can be a mainstay as a starter rather than what he's been used out of the pen for the past week and a half or so since his last start. So, the back end of the bullpen did what the back end of the bullpen is supposed to do, and it shows that, even if you don't want to go to Zach Volker, you still got guys that can get it done for you. Steven Ordorica doing his great job to be the firefighter that he often is. 2 innings and only 1 hit allowed, no runs, and the offense providing nonstop run support today. Of the 9 offensive frames, they only went scoreless in 4 of them, so the majority of this game was just Regulators runs, rounding the bases like these kids are right now here at Modern Woodman Field, and good sign of things to come. It's going to be an off day for them as they get home to Long Beach tonight. They'll probably get back around 9 or 10 or so, and they'll have a full off day to get some R&R, as will we, as we will have some laundry to do when we get home. But we'll get ready for a 12-game homestand, and you'll want to tune in on Home Team Network and our YouTube channel, the Coast Media Network. It's been fantastic being out here in Modesto, and really just shout out to Chris Estrada, Sam Dayton, and everybody here in this press box, everybody in this organization. Thank you so much for welcoming us into your booth. You did not have to be so accommodating, but you absolutely were, and we see the congrats post-it note that Sam Dayton posted on our clear glass wall. That
Thanks,
indicates
Sam.
we appreciate that. And now we can start planning playoffs at Blair Field for Coast Timber. But we still got 48 games to go in the regular season. So, Jesse, it's going to be a fun second half, hopefully, as much as it was the first.
Absolutely. Can't wait for it to start on Tuesday. But I do have to ask, what are you going to do with your off day tomorrow besides laundry? Got to be some good spots that you're missing in Long Beach.
Well, yeah, I might grab a bite to eat with some family friends in town, and like I said, just kind of get that R&R and maybe sleep in. We did get a good amount of sleep on that Saturday night, the Friday night heading into Saturday. So
Oh, I got to tell you, I was just totally schlumped after that long drive on Friday and the knockout round game. So Saturday, especially with the heat, that was a good time to sleep in. Not a luxury that anybody got to enjoy today because the team rolled up to the ballpark at 8 a.m. We left around 10:30 last night, but you know how post-game work is. Guys still had to stretch afterwards, make sure that they were feeling all right. Some even had to get up early to do pre-game workouts to make sure that they really felt like everything was in working order. But with a 37-11 record finish to the first half, tying up what Oakland set last year, well, I'd say these guys are feeling pretty good heading into their first ever second half of the Pioneer League season. And the point for playing the second half for Long Beach, yeah, you've got you've got home field advantage secured in the first round. Why even try in the second half? Well, besides the obvious factors of pride and players trying to get picked up by major league organizations, there's still a championship round to think about. If you want to make the championship, you want home field advantage, so you still have to play for that overall record in the second half. And that journey starts on Tuesday. Gates open at 5:05 at Blair Field. First pitch is set for 6:35. We've got you covered on the Home Team Network and on the Long Beach Coast YouTube page at 6:15 with our beach ball pregame report. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be back with our team reporter, our friend Nina Corral. You don't want to miss any of that or any of the final 48 games in the first half, 30 of which will be inside the friendly confines back in the LBC. Well, from the MOD, Modesto, we are saying goodbye. Again, thank you to this entire press box staff here in Modesto. They have been fantastic. With Joey Miller, I'm Jesse Cook, signing off.